Pure EVil MMA. I'm your host, as always, Evil Eddie from MyMMAnews.com, and I have a very special guest with us today. We have Rolando Casshan joining us, and he had recently just been out in Thailand, so he's going to share his experience about that and some of his fighting background here. But what's going on, Rolando? How's your morning going?
What's going on, man? Good morning. Just chilling, man. You already know, planning my day.
So, man, one of the most exciting things I think that's going on in your life is that you just got to go to Lumpini Stadium. Now, I do a show with James McSweeney, who was telling me that they just made a new stadium. So, what was the experience like? Was it nice there or what?
Oh, man, it was amazing. Like, one thing that really separates like Lumpini Stadium from stadiums anywhere in the world is like the energy is like really electrifying. Like there in Rajadam there, like the crowd is like really into it, you know, because of the gambling and whatnot and the fame of the stadium. And the fact that Lumpini's like a stadium run by the military, it's like, yo, it's no games in there. It's straight war in there.
Yeah, when I was just watching James' fight that he had there was like a big bucket of money that they had ringside. Like it was pretty lit, man. Like they're doing pretty big things over there, and we know that it's just like a legendary place, and to have it like refurbished. And did you make your debut there, right?
No, I actually made my debut on AMTL with a guy named Joseph Pearson. I've been not training with fighting in this promotion since I was amateur. So I made my debut in DC actually on a pro event.
That's right.
And this is that was my fourth fight was in Lumpini. My third was in Cambodia, and my fourth was in Lumpini. So that was actually technically my debut in Thailand fighting was at Lumpini.
Do you have like a girlfriend or anything? Because it's got to be kind of crazy to be traveling this much, right?
Yeah, it's just like it's hard because you know what I mean. I'm always in another place. And I've been at 5 different camps, so it's like it's just hard. You know what I mean? It's hard. I mean, but everything's working out fine.
Yeah, honestly, man, it seems like you have a good grip on, you know, how this industry works. And before we dive into any of those, you know, harder questions here, do you have any mixed martial arts background, or are you just, you know, just Muay Thai?
Nah, just the only things I do are Muay Thai and boxing. That's about it. And it's like, I mean, I just love boxing and Muay Thai, but they go hand in hand. It's really not a difference. There's just certain things you can't do, you know, because when you involve knees and elbows and kicks, there's certain slips you can't get away with as easily, or you know what I mean, you got to be aware. But it really goes hand in hand. Like a lot of the best fighters, they incorporate like high level boxing into their Muay Thai. So you know what I mean, I'm doing the same thing.
So for listeners out there that may not be, you know, that up to date on what Muay Thai is, because obviously we got a lot of people that watch, you know, UFC, Bellator, MMA. You know, what is the main difference between Muay Thai and kickboxing?
Oh man, there's a lot of differences. Like first of all, like the most obvious thing, if you just look at the stance, but despite not even considering the movements yet, just look at the stance. The hands tend to be closer to the body in kickboxing a lot of times, especially if they're doing the Dutch style. The stance seems to be wider, and the footwork's different. It's more like hockey, you know, like hop around. Kind of focuses more on boxing combinations and following up with like a low kick or a body kick. But Muay Thai is like, it just mixes so many things. Like you can get hit with anything at any time. Like when you focus on one thing, you might get hit with an elbow. Like you keep focusing on the knee. Like you try to focus on blocking or throwing a kick. The guy just walks in and clinch you. Like there's a million things to focus on. Like the array of techniques that you use is definitely wider in Muay Thai due to the elbow, the clinching, the throws, the you know what I mean, different knee strikes. It's just there's a wider arsenal in Muay Thai. Also because of the rule set. You know what I mean? Kickboxing, if we're going to go into a specifically kickboxing style fight, you're not going to be doing the clinch. You're not going to be doing elbows, and it's not going to be knee-centric based on the scoring system as well. You know what I mean?
So
Sorry, go ahead.
So obviously, you know, you say that you do boxing and Muay Thai, but would you ever consider doing like, because Bellator, you know, Bellator has MMA, and they also have Bellator kickboxing, and we've seen one of the biggest female names in Muay Thai, Jarina Bars, who's most well known for beating Chris Cyborg under the Line Fight Promotions a couple of years ago. Would you ever be interested in fighting for Bellator, like Bellator kickboxing, like Zarina took?
Yeah, I actually saw that fight. That was a really impressive fight. I would definitely do Bellator. It's just like, I'm a perfectionist. Like, I try to make sure I'm 100% ready for everything. Like, it's just I can't step into the ring and I haven't prepared. Like, if anything, the most issues I've ever had in fights are from overtraining. I've never ever in my life had an issue with not training enough or anything like that. Like, my issues might have come from overtraining, from being perfect. Like, whenever I decide to step into another league or another combat, arrangement, trust me, I will be prepared for it. I will do whatever I got to do to get that training done.
That's something that a lot of fighters talk about, is overtraining. What kind of obstacles come your way when you overtrain yourself?
Oh, man, it's just like, I'll tell you, when I was in Thailand before this fight, I remember specifically there was a Wednesday, like, I hit the peak of my energy, endurance, strength. I hit the peak. That same following day, Thursday, I started training, normal session as usual. Yo, the energy was worse. I'm like, but that's normal because I really overexerted myself the day before. My energy had not gotten better for like a week, and I was just noticing, like, yo, I don't have the same explosion. My legs aren't moving as quickly. That's when I know I hit a limit that I should. But when you out there and you just training, bro, like, you're really disciplined. So your discipline is what's keeping you going all the time. And sometimes you can get a workhorse mentality, but really you're a human being. You're not a machine. Sometimes you need to rest. It's actually better for your body when you do that. And just being like, sometimes discipline can work against you when you're too focused and you don't take the time to take a rest. You know what I mean? That's what really happened. Like, your body, like, your physical performance, it actually declines at a certain point if you keep overexerting yourself. If you're not getting the right electrolytes, if you're not eating enough, like, you'll see a decrease in your performance.
So listen, there's a lot of people out there that won't have sex before they fight. Have you ever, do you stay away from, hookups or anything like that when you're getting ready for a fight, or do you not really believe in that?
No, I know, I'll tell you firsthand, it actually does affect your performance. Like, I definitely don't before fight. Months, maybe no less than a month before a fight. 2 months, ideally. I don't do anything before a fight.
Yeah, it kind of just, like, I've been asking a lot of fighters this lately because Cody No Love recently came out and he was like, yeah, I won't do it because, I don't feel as sharp, I don't feel as committed, and I totally understand that. And I wonder if it's the same for girls. So, we're going to have some girls on today, and I hope it's not going to go too far when I ask them that question. But for guys, I totally understand that, man. You're not going to be as sharp. You're not going to be as, I don't know, how to really explain it. You're just kind of, like I always say, you're just kind of content with the way things are. And the best way I can compare it is, like, with fighting, you guys are going in there, and back in the day, like with the cavemen, they'd fight over women. And if you get laid, you're not going to be as, motivated, I guess. Like, of course you want to win, but it definitely takes something away from you there. But let's dodge that and let's jump a little bit forward here. One thing that I really like about you that stands out is that you got style, man. Between the hair and even the pink Fairtex gloves. Let's start with the hair, man. Do you realize how much goes into, having to stand out in this industry of, I got to have something that makes me that people remember?
Yeah. It's funny you say that. Like, it's a funny story. Like, everyone has known me for always being, like, a super clean-cut guy. Like, even the way I was telling you, I was training, like, super disciplined. Like, I've been very disciplined and clean-cut for most of my life. And you could really see that in my appearance. And, like, before I took this recent trip to Thailand, I spoke with a friend of mine from high school who's into marketing. And she was like, hey, you got to rebrand and get a more edgy image because you just look like a super cookie cutter, like clean cut, nice guy. And I was like, damn, like I thought I was doing something with a little faux hop, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, I got to go full blast, Super Saiyan on these dudes. Like, I dyed my hair, like, deep red with henna, you know what I mean? So it looks different at different times. Like, I just wanted an image that represented me as a, because I'm not just a martial artist, like I also make music. So as a creative person, the clean cut look, it wasn't really fulfilling for me. Just as a person, like when you look in the mirror, you need to see the creative that you feel like. And martial arts is all about expression. It's really self-expression. Like, you're training to self-express yourself in a more effective and combat-oriented manner. Like, more, you know what I mean? You're not just in there just punching and kicking. Like, every single second of the fight is a decision that you're making. And you want yourself to be free to make as creative decisions and utilitarian decisions as possible. So that it really goes into your look and how you see yourself. So I definitely I rebranded myself with the bright colors. I try to mix like a pink and a purple, a pink and a red, like a pink and an orange, like hot, passionate colors. Like, I just love it. You know what I mean? It makes me feel a certain way when I box. You know what I mean? It's just, that just is what it is. And the hairs, like, man, you a character. Like, because I'm really into fashion as well. So I tell my friends and I always talk about this, like, you got to be a main character in your own show or your own game. Like, that's the way I take it.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, it makes a lot of people out there really mad because, you know, take Mighty Mouse, for example, a guy that goes in there, he has amazing performances, and to me, he's definitely a character that stands out, but this day and age, you need something that separates you from the pack. Something like, if you go back to when you were a kid and you're watching WWE, you're like, oh, my favorite character is Hulk Hogan, or like mine personally when I was little was Doink the Clown. Like, he had this whole thing, he was a clown, you know what I mean? And it stands out, and it really goes back to the roots of that. Like, what are people going to remember about you? Yeah, you had an amazing fight, but, you know, there was 10 other guys that had an amazing fight that night. What's going to separate you from the pack? Now, here's what the hairstyle thing, man. Do you switch it up, like, a lot? Or how do you go about, you know, your hair?
Like, I'll put it like this, like, it kind of depends, like, I don't want to do a style that's permanent because then I can't switch it up. So I'm like, yo, I'm not going to, like, lock my hair, even though I think that's a cool look as well. It's just, like, as an artist, remember, you're also a person that goes through different changes. Like, today you might feel a different way. Like, sometimes I want to go really fight really hard and really exchange a lot. Not really exchange, but get into close quarters combat. And sometimes I want to look pretty in the fight and not get touched at all. You know what I mean? Sometimes I want to really display technique, and sometimes I want to display power. It's the same thing with how my image is. Like, sometimes I want to look rugged and super aggressive because that's how I feel. So basically, however I'm feeling, whatever I feel for a certain fight, that's how I'm going to look. I'm walking in there looking. You know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes I'll twist. I remember I had my hair twisted up one time, and I was looking like the Antichrist in that, like, real It was an accident, but it's really how I was looking. It's just like how, I don't know, man. I just felt like savage that day.
So you said, you said that you're also a musician. What kind of music do you write?
Oh, hip hop for sure.
And where can people, like, are you on SoundCloud? And did you write your own walkout song? Are you working on that? Because that would be kind of sick.
Basically, I have so many songs that I could already use my own walkout song. It's just kind of, I don't know. I do have my producer. He produced a theme song for me that samples a Casshan theme. So I definitely walked out to that before. When I get the choice to choose the walkout music, like in Lumpini, you're not choosing no walkout music. Like,
yeah,
like,
they're playing. Yeah.
Yeah, in Cambodia, you didn't have the choice to choose any walkout music, even though I would have liked to have chosen the one my boy made for me. But, yeah, man, I have a SoundCloud. I have a Bandcamp. I'm always doing music, like, as well as, like, I feel like it helps me with my martial arts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always trying to condition myself to express myself in unique ways. Like, you can't be a robot in the ring, like, jab, cross, hook, kick. You can't just do that all the time. Like, you got to do something creative.
So,
and I feel that it conditions me to do that.
So is a lot of your music kind of based around your fighting? Like, is it kind of like a fighter's music? Or, you know, what are some of the songs that you got and what are they about?
No, actually, I just did a project called Dirty Soma 2. It's basically It's about the famous movie, the Japanese movie Akira. It's an anime, but basically we related it to how kids act nowadays. And it's the main character, his name is Kaneda, right? Like, he's like a real troubled youth in a motorcycle in a bike. And basically we drew inspiration from Future's Dirty Sprite 2, which really, I really feel like it relates to how a lot of these younger generation, their mentality is on life. So the reason I blended those two projects, Akira and Dirty Sprite 2, and made Dirty Soma 2, it also references the book Brave New World, which is why I called it. It's a take on this generation's mentality, the younger generation, of the heavy drug use, the recklessness, self-destructive behavior.
Oh, I'm so happy you brought that up, man, because I've been wanting to talk about this. Just like you're saying, I mean, there's people out there like, what's it, like Little Xan, and then you got 6ix9ine. I mean, this list goes on and on, where it's really like influencing young kids to get as effed up as they can. It's not really motivating people. I mean, music nowadays is mostly about sex, and I'm not saying one rapper in particular, but from just what I'm seeing, it's, you know, the drug culture has really taken form inside hip-hop, and it pisses me off, man. My little sister is part of that new generation, man, and she just dropped out of high school. I don't think she realizes, you know, what that really is going to do and affect her life. I mean, this culture that these kids get wrapped up in, they look up to these rappers who are pretty much the same age as them. Let's take Little Xan, for instance. Every interview I see Little Xan, and he's nodding off or boonk, like he's throwing up on Adam 22. Like, it's very sad, man.
Yo, that dude Lil Xan, hey, when I just look at him, hey man, I just feel sad, bro. Like, something's really wrong. Like, the thing is, what I really gotta look at with hip hop, they're really taking advantage of these kids that might have like mental disabilities. Like, the honest truth, that dude, the way these guys interact and they're moving around in this world, something's wrong with these guys, bro. Like, there's a degree when you got actors, because a lot of these musicians are actors, and they actually impersonate a lifestyle that they don't live. They want to tell our kids and our brothers and sisters to go do drugs, but they don't live that life. Like, you know what I mean? But then sometimes you look at dudes like Boonk, and I'm glad you brought those two up, because they're really troubling. Like, I saw Boonk and Lil Xan recently, and I was like, hey, this is crazy, bro. Like, these are the guys that our young ones are listening to. It's very troubling.
I mean, just take Little Xan, for instance, man. He's dating Miley Cyrus's sister. It's mind-blowing. It's literally mind-blowing to see what these guys are up to, which is the direction that hip-hop is really taking. And this is something that's been going on for when we were kids. Like, people would be like, oh, Eminem is bad. But Eminem got me fired up to, like, change my life and look at things around me. Like, I was growing up in the ghetto, and it was just so relatable. Nowadays, I feel like the music has just changed for the worse. I mean, some of it's really catchy, but if you look at what it stands for and what is, you know, an underdeveloped brain is taking in from it, it's putting on all the wrong ideas for how to live your life and, you know, be successful. It doesn't mean take a lot of Xanax and you can rap and go on SoundCloud and make all this money. It's totally lost at this point in my eyes, and it's very sad.
Yeah, and also if you look at what you just said, to add on to that, you said an underdeveloped mind. Now let's look at an underdeveloped mind on drugs, an underdeveloped mind that's an alcoholic, an underdeveloped mind with possible mental disabilities. Listening to this music, like, it's really bad all around. It's our kids, the kids of this generation have been sold out. They think that these artists relate to them. Like, I'm gonna tell you, one time I saw Chief Keef, and I was like, yo, okay. I just sat back and looked at it. I said, hey, this is the perfect experiment for hip-hop. And no disrespect to Chief Keef, but what I noticed, being from D.C., he looks like a lot of dudes from my city. And
that's I'm thinking, shit I don't like, right?
That's why they promoted this dude, because he's relatable. And they take a dude who looks just like the youth of your generation, who might share feelings like the youth of your generation, who might be into the same stuff as the youth of your generation. And they say, oh, that's the guy we're going to give promotion to. That's the guy we're going to make blow up. And that's how maniacal this shit is, because for real, this is all intentional. They want your kids to relate to someone like this. They want it to happen.
And the way that Chief Keef blew up was because he was suspected of murdering that kid from, yeah, we 300, but we BDK. Like, that whole thing was going on, and he's on house arrest, and like this, it's literally disturbing. It really is.
It is.
So before we let you go here, last thing I want to touch on, man, is who's taking all these photos for you? I just saw a photo of you like underwater boxing, which is actually really sick. Who do we give credit to for all this?
Oh, my girlfriend Kim.
Hey.
When we were in Phuket, just chilling after the fight, and I was like, hey, let me do a video of some of the form my teacher has taught me. You know what I mean? And she was like, okay. So we were underwater holding our breath. I was taking that. I did a whole bunch of shots of that video. Like, there's a million techniques I did underwater.
So Rolando, I know that was the last question that I was going to give you, man, but this is really the last question. Do you have any direction here? Like, when can people expect you to get back in there for a fight?
Oh, October 7th on the next AMTL event in DC.
Right.
I'll be ready for that.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show right before that fight to see how things went, man. Thank you so much for joining us here on Pure EVil MMA, Rolando, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks a lot, Eddie. Also, I wanted to say thanks to my manager, Al Rodriguez, for even setting this up. Thanks a lot for having me, man. It was an awesome interview.
All right, yeah, shout out to Ironson, and have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too, bro.
All right, there you guys go. Rolando Casshan. And I see people blowing up my phone. I think Mercy is trying to call in right now. So let me figure this situation out really quick, because my phone is currently on the hinges of dying, apparently, allegedly. Here we go. So, guys, on today's show, I know that we jumped in right with that interview here. Well, it is Wednesday, obviously, here in America. Hey, Madonna me. It is Wednesday, which means we are doing the live call-in show. And we have a couple of guests here. We got Lindsey VanZandt, who's going to be calling in. Making sure the fish filter's plugged in. And also, Kristen Ferrara is going to be calling in. Misfit is going to be calling in a little while. And there's been so much that's been going on so far in the news with mixed martial arts and a lot of drama. So this weekend we had a weekend off. We had a weekend away. There was no UFC, no Bellator, which is kind of weird, because in my eyes, if you're Bellator, this is the time for you. And I don't know why I'm getting feedback. I don't know if it's just in my headphones. Hopefully you guys don't hear any feedback. But if I was Bellator, I would plan around all of the UFC events. Like, if they have an off week, that's when you jump on there. Or if they have a pay-per-view that people don't want to buy, that's when you do an event the same night. And I don't understand why they haven't jumped on board. I feel like that would be a great idea for them to boost themselves up and make themselves kind of slip right in to more viewers who are expecting to tune into the UFC. And they're like, oh wait, this is a pay-per-view? I don't want to see that. Oh wait, this legendary fighter is going to be fighting tonight on Bellator, and I don't have to pay for that? I'm there all day. So I don't understand where Bellator has been, but I will say this, Bellator has been doing a great job. They just announced another Grand Prix, and we all know that Fedor Emelianenko is going to be fighting Chael Sonnen coming up. I cannot wait for that, and they will be coming back to Mohegan Sun Arena, and I will be cage-side for that. Also, a quick reminder, I will be cage-side this weekend for Cage Titans out in Plymouth, Massachusetts. If anyone wants to come out and support, that would be awesome. But let's give Mercy a call back here. Mercy is blowing up my phone with let's get her on here, because I always enjoy talking to Mercy of Team Cyborg. Let me bring them up.
That's the Bellator's flyweight champ.
So listen, last time that me and you spoke, we were discussing Chris Cyborg and possibly moving over to Bellator and some of the bigger names that Bellator has over there. You know, where do you stand right now, currently, with the whole Chris Cyborg, Bellator, and all the recent news that's been breaking?
Yeah, we talking about Chris and all that. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. You know, she's making the money with UFC. So on one hand, you want to see her do well, right? So you want to see her make as much money as possible. But on the other hand, we already know if Scott Corker could possibly get Chris, like, it would be the world tour of Chris Cyborg. Like, it would be Chris Cyborg all day, all night, like, over there. So to me, I'm like, she could go either way. Like, I think she should weigh her options. I don't think she should just automatically re-sign with UFC. I think that when the time comes, she should look at, you know, what options she has available.
There's a lot of fighters out there like Eddie Alvarez who's like, you know, I might go back to Bellator. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are weighing their options.
Money with Bellator, really, if you think about it. I mean, technically, on paper, it's not going to look like more money, but it really could be if you're talking about sponsorships and, you know, the way that, you know, they invest in their fighters, you know, top-notch fighters. Technically, it could be worth more. So, you know, I don't think she should leave him out. Besides, that would give me, like, the greatest joy in the world to see her be able to take that belt, the fourth major WMMA title, which no one else has ever done, not even come close to. Yeah, you all would just need to turn off your, go ahead and mute me and turn off your Twitter, because I would just be trash talking everywhere. If Chris gets another title, just chalk it up to y'all hate me then.
Well, listen, there's been a lot of changes coming of as late with the whole ESPN deal, and I really hope that once we switch into gear with ESPN, it will really help the UFC, you know, get focused once again. I mean, you have Chris Cyborg there. We've been waiting for her to come over to the UFC for so long, and it just feels so stale with them not growing that division. I mean, me and you, we spoke about it in length on the last time that you were on, but, you know, to kind of jump forward here, you have one of your friends that's going to be calling in just a little bit, Misfit. So for people out there that aren't aware about Misfit, what can you say about Misfit for those who are just going to hear from her for the first time?
I'm sorry, what did you say? What would I say about her?
Yeah, like, if you can sum who she is in a sentence or two.
She's a beast. She was built for this sport. Like, the more I keep learning about the bare knuckle sport, like, this is her wheelhouse. It's probably what she should have been doing all along. Like, the rules are made for her. Like, the technique is made for her. I feel bad almost, keyword almost, because I'm purely ready to bring out the mattress. But I almost feel bad for her opponent, because this is going to be brutal. I cannot wait. I'm overjoyed and excited.
Honestly, here's the thing. She's beat Rachel Ostovich before in the past that I feel people don't know. Yeah.
And, you know, people talk about Tiff Time Bomb and all that, but what you have to understand is Tiff is like the elite of the elite is stand-up. Like, are you kidding? And she didn't knock her out. Like, it was a close decision. Like, yo, and we can run that back, too, if she wants to, in bare knuckle. And the result will be completely different.
Tiffany Time Bomb, yeah.
Christine is ready. She ready for war. Like, it's go time.
And you know what? BK FC sold so many pay-per-views just off of MyMMAnews.com. It was the biggest pay-per-view event that we've ever sold. The most we've ever sold on the website, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, like, you're in for some non-stop action. Like, I cannot wait.
So here, Mercy, have you heard some of the latest news coming out about Andrea KGB Lee?
Of course.
And just to update everybody.
I told you all, well, I wasn't on air with you at the time, but I tweeted about this. Like, I'm not one to immediately, like, judge just based off of, whatever everybody's up in arms about. But I did my research. I sat for half a day researching this guy just to see, if what people were saying about him being changed and all this was true. But, he got fired, or in their words, quote unquote, resigned from the Greenwood Police Department in Louisiana for handcuffing and beating his wife over the head. Okay, so he went to jail for that, and he was a police officer at the time. According to him, he already had his Nazi tattoos, because he said he got them 18 years ago. He's only like 40. So, yeah, he would have had his tattoos at the time. So he goes to jail for that, gets out of jail, goes back to jail for, somebody was sitting in their car in his parking driveway. But when they left, he followed them and then shot the man 11 times, 7 times in the head.
Ooh.
Like, literally, the man was unarmed. He shot him. Killed him. So he's a murderer, right? So we've already known that he was a self-proclaimed Nazi, a wife beater, and a murderer.
Here's the thing, too.
In February of 2018, he has an open case right now for drug charges, major drug charges. And we acting like we surprised that he put his hands on Andrea. Like, when I saw her interviews, she looked scared. Like, I was telling B-Phil 99, I was like, actually, what I'm scared about is if he's actually putting his hands on her. I said that a couple weeks ago. I'm like, listen, his tattoos just tell me who he is. Please leave him. Don't cover him up. No, please let us know that you are somebody that we should not be messing with. Like, great. Go ahead. You're a Nazi. But I always felt like that he probably was putting his hands on her. And then, here we go. We found out he is.
And you know what, Mercy? This all started, like this whole issue started because they were arguing about Mighty Mouse being robbed.
Isn't that stupid?
It's childish. It's so childish.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid you almost wouldn't believe it. Like, except I do. Because that's how these cowards are. Like, they get mad about, like, the most idiotic things ever. And then he puts his hands on her? Like, are you kidding?
There's no coming back from this.
I was never blaming her for it. Because I 100% looked at it and said she looked scared. I didn't believe nothing that was coming out of her mouth about him being changed. Like, he went to church and got saved and sanctified.
Here's how I view it.
That didn't happen.
Here's literally how I view it. Let me plug my phone in really quick. For somebody to have a tattoo like that, like I was raised around a lot of bikers and stuff like that, a lot of motorcycle people. Around a lot of motorcycle people, and I've seen those tattoos plenty of times before in my life. But you know what? A lot of those guys aren't on TV. They don't have like a reputation to uphold and stuff like that. When you are in the spotlight and you don't have the sense on you to cover up a tattoo like that, to me it seems like you are still supporting the idea of what that tattoo represents, and it's repulsive, man. It's so repulsive. It's gonna bother a lot of people out there for what it stands for. And to have a girl defend, like he was having her defend him, saying, well, he kept it because if he ever has to go back to jail. And a lot of people are like, so you're planning on going back to jail? Are you a changed man? Like, to me, it's just like, if you had something like that in jail, I can understand. But once you get out, cover that shit up.
He got arrested in February. Yeah, he's going back to jail.
It rubs me the wrong way, and there's no coming back from this. There's no coming back from this.
Here's the thing. I'll just throw this out there, and it's not even something that I normally would even talk about, but I am an African-American woman. I have dated for real changed white men in my life that were in that kind of circle. They would have rather cut their skin off than to actually still be walking around with those kinds of tattoos and whatnot.
And post pictures on the internet of them, yeah.
Like, and for it to be on and we weren't even a public couple, you know what I mean? But that's just not something you can do. Like, you can't say, oh, I changed, and you're still walking around with it. Like, so as soon as he came up with every excuse in the world not to take them off, that's what told me, oh, he's leaving them on because actually the gang would rather come cut them off of him than have him denounce them in public. So he never did so. All he did was issue a PR statement that said that he was sorry. I cannot tell you how many, I'm talking about tweets that I had for years that told me, oh, Mercy, this is just a race card. Oh, you just not letting us go, and he's changed and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, he's still the same scumbag. Like, what part of this y'all missing? Like, are you really just naive?
And this just came out
really
recently,
think that we all want to believe that people are inherently good. Like,
yeah.
I think that's like where it's coming from. Like, that's how we want to think. But no, it's 2018, and it really is still not openly Nazi, tattoo-wearing, wife-beating, unarmed, killing idiots running around, like, and they still trying to infiltrate our circles and normalize that, like, that's just okay, but we're supposed to forgive that and overlook that. And it's like that, saying, oh, they didn't come after this group first, or they didn't come after that group, and you didn't care. But then when it was finally your turn, then where were you? Because you didn't care about all these other groups that they had already, like, disparaged. Yeah, it's the same thing. We should have known he was an a-hole from when he handcuffed his wife, got kicked off the police force, and beat her over the head, was convicted of that, and went to jail for it. Like, that's your first sign. That's the first sign.
This is just disgusting to hear. And for people out there like that are laughing at it, like, yeah, me and Mercy are laughing at it, but domestic violence is definitely not a joke. If you know somebody or you have a girl...
Please leave. Fight like hell and leave.
Yeah. And it goes on with guys, too. Like, I don't know guys, but I know it happens to guys as well.
It does.
It can go both ways.
I just happen to be, a woman, so I'm all about women empowerment. But yeah, like, no, it's not her fault that he's an a-hole. That's not her fault. I'm not blaming her for any of this. She needs to fight like hell and leave. The only thing she's at fault for is I can't even blame her for trying to cover it up, because like I said, she looks scared to me in the video. Like, that's all I kept telling people is, I don't even know that what she was saying was coming from her. She was visibly frightened. And people didn't see it that way. They were like, oh, well, she said it's okay. I'm like, no, she looks scared as hell. Like, what the... Are we all talking about the same thing?
And the news story was broke by my website, mymmanews.com. Shout out to Eric Cowell for keeping everybody updated on all that. But here's the other thing. When this originally came out about the Nazi tattoo, she defended him. She literally sat there, defended him, and the first tweet that she sent out was like, our neighbors are Asian. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah, your neighbors are Asian, but if they knew you had a Nazi tattoo, they'd feel some type of way about it. I guarantee it.
Here's what I think. I don't even know that she sent the first tweet. How do we know she sent the tweet?
That's true.
He could have wrote that tweet. You know what I mean? Like, this is a man who beats his wives. Like, that's what he does. We don't know if she sent it, if he made her send it. I mean, we really honestly don't know. So that's why I didn't blame her for the whole situation. She always looked scared. She always looked like she was in fear throughout all of those interviews. She looked scared. And I'm saying that, and I'm as black as they come, like, I didn't blame her. I blamed him. She looked scared. Now, maybe she's an idiot because she knew his record when they got together. Now, maybe we could blame her for that. And for that, I would say, yeah, you're probably playing with fire if you already know somebody's a murderer and beat his wife. Like,
yeah.
you probably should have thought twice. But she's young. I mean, we all did stuff when we were young. Like, I'm not here past judging on the woman. Not at all. Not at all. I've done some really dumb stuff in my life.
But they're in the spotlight here. Like, if a police report comes out, we're gonna find out about it. Like, he's not even being careful about it, and there's no coming back.
He clearly doesn't care. Remember, he got on MTV. He was on a show, Caged.
Oh my God, really? That? He got on that show?
And he laughed about, so it's an episode, I wish I had the information in front of me. I didn't know we was going to be talking, but he was on MTV on Caged and laughed about punching his ex-wife's fiance in the face. Like, and that's why he got sent to jail in the first damn place.
So Spoonie375 is saying, DV is never funny. From what I've seen on Twitter, the community has fallen solidly behind her. Also, we got comments as well regarding you. BLT says Mercy Lakes are bad boys.
Yeah. I was guilty of that when I was younger, but I never dated anybody who was still walking around with the crap on them. Like, let's just be real clear. Like, I'm Mercy. Like,
so Mercy, let's be real.
Mercy that you all know. Like, no, you're not gonna walk around with a Nazi tattoo on you and say that we're together.
Let's be real about this. If you are Andrea, what do? Do you get a divorce? Like, how do you go about this? And is there coming back from this? Like, can they make this work again?
She could come back career-wise if that's what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely
for sure,
she can. Absolutely she can. The MMA community has rallied behind her. So now is her time to leave. Like, I don't know if money is the issue. I don't know what the issue is if I don't know her, but her best bet is to bounce. Like, leave the whole state, move somewhere else, take her and her friend, what's her name, Crazian? Take her and her friend Crazian and go. Like, dip while you have a chance, because when the storyline changes and we're on to, like, the next new outrage in the MMA world, because that's how it works. Like, we get one outrage and then we get another one, something else, and then everybody forgets about the last one.
Yeah.
She ought to take this time now while everybody's outraged at it to go ahead and dip, because everybody's paying attention right now. So that's a dangerous game to be messing with, you know. I mean, they're all over the South, so she needs to dip and, like, move somewhere north, west.
And
go find a friend that lives in California or something like that that you can stay with and dip and worry about the divorce later. But the most important thing is she needs to go. That would be my advice. Now, I can't tell her how to run her life, but that would be my advice.
And here's the thing. Like, it sounds easy, but I've been, like, on healthy relationships before in the past, and it's hard to go through a change. Like, it sounds easy, but you know, there's a lot that goes into it.
It's definitely not easy, especially when you got a kid involved and you got finances involved. All that is hard, but you have to decide, is any of that worth your life?
And
if the answer to that is no, leave and figure it out later.
Clearly, this is a man who has not learned his lesson, in my opinion.
No. Nobody is going to be mad at you. I don't care what court it is in the world. She's not going to get convicted of taking her kid. And this man is convicted of murder. I'm sorry. Let me be really specific when I say it. He was convicted of negligent homicide, murder. Period. Point blank. That's what it was. But it was the actual charge was negligent homicide. He was convicted of kidnapping and endangering his wife, because he hit her over the head after he handcuffed her. Like, are you kidding me? What are we debating here? There is no debate. I guess that's why I was more mad. Was thinking, like, these are my tweets. My tweets have been my tweets for years. And y'all really gonna argue with me about somebody who's a damn self-proclaimed Nazi? Please, y'all. Please.
So,
that part's laughable. Like, I'm not laughing at her because that's not funny. But I am laughing at these tweets they came up with and twisted themselves into every kind of knot they could get in to defend this man, claiming he was changed. And I'm like, are y'all for real? Like, am I the only one living in the real world? This man is not changed.
So
he just got arrested.
Yeah. So, Mercy, moving on here. Well, first off, let us know what you guys think about this on Twitter, evil_echo. And Mercy, what's your Twitter? It's at Team Cyborg 1.
I'm Cyborg Nation 01.
Cyborg Nation 01. So moving forward here, I want to talk a little bit about Chris and what she recently did as of late, because it ties into our show. We're going to be calling Rivoli's, and Rivoli's has been in the news recently with, Frankie Edgar's, Ali, and all that.
Oh, yeah, that was a mess, right? Like, what in the world?
So, how did Chris's thing go at Rivoli's? Have you heard about it?
Chris had a great event. I mean, all feedback I saw, I talked to plenty of Cyborg Nation fans, and they would have told me, like, if something was, not right. But I talked to them throughout the whole event, and everybody had fun, and the guy that owns Rivoli's is a big fan, and they had a good time, and the food was good, so I'm not really sure why it's being said his food isn't good. Like, that was crazy to me. I'm like, huh?
Now, as a business owner, did you see, like, what he recently did with, Frankie Edgar cutout? He put on a mask that looked like Ali?
Well, I think he kind of had to, right? Because the manager told him that he was going to sue him. So he couldn't use his image anymore. But I don't even understand how you do that, because he paid for the cutout, and Frankie himself signed the cutout. Mm-hmm. So you can't, in my mind, I'm not a lawyer, but in my mind, you can't tell somebody what they can do with a cutout after you already signed it yourself, right?
Yeah, that's your property.
Like you should be able to put it wherever you want to put it. It's yours.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. So we're going to actually be calling him in just a little bit here. But Mercy, before we let you go, I also want to talk a little bit more about Christine Misfit. Obviously she's I've been checking out your Twitter page, and it seems like you talk with her a lot, like helping her with some music to motivate her and stuff like that. So does she have a manager right now, or
No.
What's going on with her?
No management. No. We're just friends. I'm not anybody's manager. Everybody knows I'm just a super fan. I don't work for anybody. None of that. But Christine is my girl. She is contracted by Bare Knuckle Fight Club. They got an event 8/25 in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I definitely will be there.
Oh, you're going?
Screaming my head off.
Hey.
Yes, I will be there screaming my head off. I'll try to get you guys some feed or something from the show. Yeah, I'm definitely going, because I live in Atlanta, so Mississippi is like the next state over. So yeah, I'm definitely
so jealous. So how much are tickets for that event?
Tickets for that event are relatively reasonable if we're talking about in comparison to MMA. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about front row is, I don't know, like $250 or something like that. That's for front row. So you can imagine other tickets are, I think it range from $25 to $250. And it's going to be an awesome show. So if you're down south, make sure, like, you get some tickets and go. Like, it's going to be a good time. That's an awesome new kind of sport if you like stand-up. If you're into stand-up, that's something to go to.
Last but not least here, before we let you go here, Mercy, in case nobody heard our conversation about Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes that we had a couple of weeks ago, and you guys can find that here on Pure EVil MMA on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and YouTube. We are getting close to the end of the year here. Do you think Chris Cyborg, whether she fights Amanda Nunes or someone else, do you think that she will be able to fight before the year's over?
I think Chris is fighting. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I'm not on Chris's team. I'm not anything like that. I'm just a super fan like some of the rest of you all. But if I was making placing a wager on it, Chris fights end of the year. She fights in December. We wanted to fight before then. I would definitely be down to see her fight before then, but no doubt Chris fights end of the year. And Amanda has said her name one too many times, and we all know Chris is like Candyman, except she's Candy Woman. And she said her name too many times, so now she got to pay the consequences of saying the champ's name. You just don't get to do that and walk away clean. Like, you got to pay for it. So unless Amanda Nunes comes up with a GDR 8 bandage excuse as to why she can't fight, I say they fight in December.
Oh my God, the GDR. And yeah, Jermaine Durandamy is coming back. She's gonna be fun.
Rocky. Band-Aid girl. That's Band-Aid girl. Quit playing.
And she's finally coming back. GDR is going to be fighting Raquel Pennington. That was a fight I really wanted to see, though. I wanted to see GDR versus Chris Cyborg just as much as I want to see her fight Amanda.
Yeah, I wanted to see her fight, Chris, but, I mean, if you're bold enough just to come out and say you just are afraid to fight Chris, hey, I can't disrespect that. I understand that. I wouldn't be stepping in to fight Chris. Like, I mean, unless we're talking about just as, like, my instructor and we sparring, but I wouldn't even want to spar against her. Like, good Lord, it's Chris Cyborg. Yeah, and Ace Bandage, a.k.a. GDR, yeah, she gave in to every one of those fears before she ever even signed a contract.
Yeah.
So the fight was already lost. If you're that scared, she's already lost. You're definitely not going to stand across the cage from her and say that you ready to scrap. And in your head, you're already thinking, oh, no, I didn't want to fight her.
See, with this whole Amanda Nunes thing, though, I thought it was really weird and kind of uncalled for them to post a picture of her signing a contract, but there was no...
How you sign a contract and you injured? When they start doing that, Eddie? Yeah, like, please tell me. Please, I've been waiting to ask you that one. What is this new thing with fighters calling out fighters and they injured? Like, how you gonna call somebody out and you injured?
Well, first off, not only that, but to tweet out a picture of you signing a contract and say I'm ready to fight, and it's
that's
not real.
But you claim that you injured. So if you're injured, how you sign a contract?
So
how do we know when you're gonna get healed?
But here's the good.
Mean, I can't be the only person that forgot that she pulled out of a main event at International Fight Week over sinusitis. Like, I don't knock her for that. Maybe she couldn't breathe, but I didn't forget. Like, if I was Chris, I wouldn't be banking my check on her. Like, I would be just like Chris, asking for another fight with somebody else, because maybe Nunes is going to show up and fight, and maybe not. And if she claims she's still injured December 29th? Then what? Now Chris hasn't had a fight in 9 months and no paycheck. Like, people need to remember that you got to fight to actually get a check. You can't get a check if you don't fight.
100%. And you know what? On top of it all, if there is any hope of this fight going through, Amanda Nunes usually does fight in December time, but there is that fear of, well, she could fall off.
She don't. I guess that's me. I'm like, let me see what the downside. Like Holly Holm. Even though I talked a lot of trash about her, I even sent her, Cyborg Nation sent her a gift in the mail. Like, we sent her gifts and whatnot. But at the end of the day, she showed up to fight. You know what I mean?
It's only good fun. Yeah.
That was good fun. We was just joking. But, no, for real, with Nunes, I'm really thinking to myself, like, what if she don't show up? Like, then what?
Lucy.
You know, running a camp that Chris runs, that's not cheap.
Here's my...
how you do that if you're not fighting?
Here's my last question to you. If Chris Cyborg could only take one more fight ever in her career, who would you want to see her fight?
Brickus.
Why?
Brickus, because it adds to the legend. If I had to pick a second one, if she can't fight Brickus, go rematch Bars and whoop her. Put her to sleep.
Yeah,
those are our fights. There isn't a single MMA fight I could think of as Chris's #1 fan that I want to see her do more than either A, Brickus, or B, rematch Bars before she retires. Those are the fights to make.
And you know what? I think it's really awesome of Chris Cyborg to, even though everyone holds that fight, that loss over her head.
I don't. It showed me she was dope. Showed me that she's. I mean, honestly, she didn't look human. I mean, Bars was dropping bombs. I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's a lanky fighter too.
Those knees and those kicks she was throwing with some bombs. Anybody else would have been knocked out. Chris, like, it looked like she was kind of knocked out on her feet, and she shook her head, and like a real Cyborg, she shook her head and kept coming forward. Yeah. Like, who does that?
Yeah, that's got to be scary.
How do you do that? Like, well, how is that even possible?
My point here is what I'm saying is that she's doing the right thing of making herself uncomfortable, going outside of mixed martial arts, going towards Muay Thai, doing boxing, wrestling, whatever it is. And that's what you need.
You can't be the legend of a sport called mixed martial arts if you don't make yourself uncomfortable and go into other sports, other combat sports, fight by their rules, beat their champs, or at least be competitive with their champs. Otherwise, you're not the true GOAT.
Exactly. Look
That's
at Ronda.
what makes you GOAT.
Look at what happened to Ronda. She's trying to new things out on Holly. Like, you're trying to box Holly Holm. Like, that's not the right place to do it. Like, stick to your bread and butter there. And if you do want to expand on your career, you know, do what Chris Cyborg did. Go into a Muay Thai organization. You know, try your luck there. Don't, try things for the first time against high-level competition inside the octagon. It's just going to derail your career.
Yeah, like, you got nothing to lose if you go try in their sport by their rules. You know what I mean? That's not hurting your MMA career. You go over to boxing. If Chris goes over to boxing and lose, let's say she loses to Chris, right? So what? The girl is undefeated. As long as she doesn't get completely embarrassed and, like, knocked out, which I don't believe would ever happen. As long as that's not the case, yeah, she's doing pretty darn good. As long as you make the fight competitive, that's where you go test the water. You don't say, oh, well, Rick is come fight in MMA and lose, like, because then now you look bad. You really did tarnish your brand then. But going and fighting by their rules is nothing but a learning experience.
So what about Megan Anderson? What about Megan Anderson? We got her kind of sitting there, even though she just recently lost to Holly Holm. I think there's a lot of people out there that still want to see her fight Chris. There's really no one to fight.
Who, Megan?
Yeah, Megan Anderson.
Good old Carmen Sandiego? I think they should scrap. That's what I say.
That's why she's here.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, that's why they brought her.
I'm one of those people. I don't see why, since Chris wants to fight now, and UFC already has them both signed, why they not letting them scrap? Megan doesn't have a scrap.
I would love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight, and I think there's a lot of people out there that would agree.
They don't have to be a pay-per-view. Put it on a, what's the card in Brazil's coming up? Sao Paulo? Is that it?
Sao Paulo, yeah. Could you imagine if they headlined that? That would be huge. That would be huge.
Yeah, put it on there.
I would love
People
that.
gonna watch. It's not pay-per-view. People gonna watch that fight.
Let us know.
Chris wants to scrap. Megan wants to fight. That's a big fight. You know, Megan just lost to Holm. Okay, well, you don't have any real true women's featherweights, like, signed. Why not?
And
Why not?
In Megan's defense, it was her first time inside the octagon under the big lights, a lot of
and
pressure.
That's a valid. Part of that is valid. She was missing in action for over a year. It very well could have been, and we still won't know how she'll do. We can always compare her fight to if they let her fight Chris. We can always compare that fight to how she did against Holm. I mean, that gives fans something to talk about. You got a new division coming out. You're doing this tough. Let's get a for real women's featherweight fight going. Put Megan on guard.
I mean, that fight has to happen. That's why they brought Megan over. They're trying to build up this division. And oh, mercy, this is really the last thing here. Ultimate Fighter Season 28, they're bringing in the female featherweights as well. So we have that to look forward to.
That's what I'm saying. This could be the lead-in. You could do a fight. Like, I really want to just tell UFC division how to handle this. Bring in Megan. Let Megan and Chris scrap. And then you have the tough finale. And then you have the Amanda Nunes and the Chris and Nunes fight. Like, that's how you intro a division. Give us some big fights. Those are the only big fights I can think of, unless they're going to do Chris versus Holm Part 2.
So
I don't think Holm want no part of that work, because I think she knows that Chris sleeps with. But, I mean...
So let us know what you guys think on Twitter and Instagram at evil_echo, and on Instagram at Pure EVil MMA_. Last but not least, Mercy, where can people find you on Twitter? It's at what?
Cyborg Nation 01.
There you go. Mercy, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you in the comment section.
Love you guys. Mercy out.
There you go. Today's show going smooth so far. Going smooth. And you know what? I do hear like a little feedback. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing it. I don't know what the hell that's coming from. I unplugged my cable box. Could be my my microphone, but I do not know. But there's been, like I said, there's been so much that has gone down this week inside the MMA, inside the mixed martial arts world, and a lot of it has to do with drama here, which is just absolutely ridiculous. How about Greg Hardy getting his finish in 17 seconds? What do you do with this guy? I mean, he's 2-0 now under the Dana White Choosing the Contender Series. I really would like to see him on an undercard or something. Like, I know there's going to be people out there that get mad, but when you think about it, like the way I'm looking at things now is it's only going to help people to get more interested and want to tune in to the UFC to see what's going to happen with Greg Hardy. Do you know how many people out there that watch football that would love to see if Greg Hardy can actually fight in the UFC? I'm not saying throw him in the deep end here. I'm not saying that by any means. But like if you go to a carnival, you go to, whatever kind of entertainment that's, on a big stage, usually they have like an intermission and they do, clowns will come out, they'll dance, they'll do, a little side piece. Why not do that in the UFC with some of these bigger names? And I'm not saying have Logan Paul and KSI or anything like that, but at the same time, why not? I mean, they're not real UFC fighters. They're just guys that want to see what's going to happen. It's going to draw a bigger crowd. And with the WME IMG era that's going on right now, that's what's going on that we're seeing recently. And when there's a lot of people out there that are so pissed about it, and I understand that. But don't you want to see our sport do good? I saw a tweet this week. I saw a tweet this week of someone saying, that's a weird sentence there. Someone saying, mixed martial arts was never supposed to go mainstream. This is a sport that wasn't supposed to take this path. Well, I don't think there's a lot of people back in the 1920s that thought baseball would be where it's at today. I don't think people thought basketball would be where it's at today. The list goes on and on. Soccer. Look how many people are all about soccer. That is a world sport around the globe. Mixed martial arts is a world sport. It's not just in America like football or baseball. This is a global sport. So it's like, why are we having so much difficulty bringing in, viewers, pay-per-view buys? And yeah, there is issues with, online streaming, this and that. Look what they're saying about Mayweather McGregor. They said 100 million illegal streams were going on. You didn't even need to buy the pay-per-view. You could just open up a Snapchat. Everyone that night was watching the fights, and you could literally watch it on your Snapchat. That's how crazy this era is. But you need to spice things up somehow if you really want to see our sport succeed. Unfortunately, we're at the point where it's like we have amazing athletes out there. USADA's come in, clean it all up, make it look a lot better. There's no steroid use, so we say. Diaz brothers will say otherwise. But we need something else right now. Obviously, the UFC doesn't have big stars. And listen, if you took Conor McGregor out of the equation, the UFC would make someone else into a big star. That's what they do. It happens all the time. Someone is next in line. Who is it going to be? We don't know. We have no idea. I mean, there's been a lot of names that have been coming up, and they're thrown in the deep end, and then they can't build that momentum back up. Look at Conor McGregor and what he was able to do after the loss against Nate Diaz. Could you imagine if Conor McGregor beats Khabib Nurmagomedov coming up? What that will do for his career, what that will do for the UFC. Obviously, in my mind, and I guess I guarantee a lot of you guys would agree, the UFC wants Conor to win for the brand. We don't need him to win, but we need him to win for the sport in a way. It would be awesome for Khabib, and I'm even leaning towards Khabib to win this fight. I do think Khabib can win. And we can dive into that. This is what we're going to be talking about for a while until the fight comes up. I've been tossing and turning every night, wondering what the hell is going to be going on in this. Like, how is this going to be playing out? Is Khabib going to get cocky in there? Is he going to think that he can stand in straight with Conor McGregor? My mind is just blown thinking about what's going to happen. Do what Eddie Alvarez was supposed to do. Look what Eddie Alvarez did against Showtime Pettis. Look what Eddie Alvarez did in some of his top fights that made him the UFC champion of the lightweight division before the Conor McGregor fight. Here's the thing. Yeah, Khabib has amazing wrestling, but can he deal with the mental warfare? Now, also on the table, there's not going to be a world tour like we're used to seeing with Conor McGregor. Yeah, you don't need it, I guess, because Conor McGregor already has made a name for himself. This fight is allegedly supposed to be the biggest fight in UFC history. We hear this every year, every time Conor McGregor steps in there, or whoever. But without the world tour, you're not going to get the shit talk. Like, you can still, I guess you can still get it to go, but emotionally to invest yourself into a world tour will only play into Conor's game in my mind. And you're taking that out of the equation. Khabib's the kind of guy, he understands what Conor's doing here. Let's rewind back to UFC 205 press conference. Conor McGregor went in there and just made everybody look foolish, like they didn't belong on stage. He knew what he was doing. He had all the tools to do it. and Eddie Alvarez just looked out of place. It looked like a schoolyard bullying beatdown. That's literally what it looked like. Oh, we got the chat room going sick in here. What's going on? BLT, it's Agent Smith. Hey, Agent Smith. Spoony375 seems like a new viewer. Thank you for tuning in. Chris versus Megan and BKB. Dude, I would be so down for that. Spoony, been hearing the phone a bit, dude. Derek Lewis to fight Hardy. He's going to ice him. Hey, MMA Holes, checking in. Make sure you guys are checking out the MMA Holes. And Chris, matter of fact, once I finish my live stream, I got to call you about something crazy that is going on. And I could use a little pushing on your end from your show. And guys, the MMA Holes go live every Wednesday night, so make sure you click on the MMA Holes on YouTube and give them a follow as well. But once you guys hear what's going on with me and James McSweeney right now, like, shit's about to get crazy. If you guys remember episode 3, I don't want to get into it, but we might have to pull that episode. We might, and me and James are going to do a video, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here. But Chris, I will be calling you afterwards. But guys, go check out episode 3 of Gloves Off before we are literally forced to take it off. I can't wait to tell you guys what's going on, because it's fucking mind-blowing. It's fucking mind-blowing. Very, very crazy. Very cringy as well. But our next guest that's going to be calling in, I know I'm going to continue this talk here, but our next guest that's going to be calling in, I believe, is Lindsey VanZandt. Let me boom. Hey, where is it? Hey, Madonna me. Hey, Madonna me. All right, so at 12:30, Kristen Ferrer is going to be calling in. So in about 20 minutes, she's going to be calling in to talk a little bit about her BKFC 2 fight going down on August 25th against Marine and Varzad. I can't pronounce that girl's last name. So this is going to be a really interesting interview. She also has had a win over Rachel Ostovich, which you guys might remember as well. So we have her calling in just about 20 minutes. Let me get the phone charged. Yeah, I don't know what that little feedback noise is, if that's what you guys are referring to when you guys are saying you can hear the phone. Hopefully not. But on the other hand, guys, what do you think about the studio here? We're going to be having some in-studio guests calling in. Or not calling in, but coming in. We have Blair Tubman, Justin the Fort Sumner, who's going to be stopping in here next week. Maybe we'll have Nick Newell in studio as well. Who else did I just recently line up? Harrison Bonfiglio, William Knight. These are all guests that are going to be sitting here in studio. Let me just move out of the way here for a second. So you can see, this is where the guests are going to be sitting under the Ali Fraser. And there's my seat. This is all brand new furniture. We got this furniture just for the studio. So I'm really looking forward to breaking it in here. But let's get back in a little Habib versus Conor. I saw one of the comments in the live chat here. There's a very good chance, and I'm a little nervous about this, of Habib pulling out of the fight. If that happens, what do you do here? Who would Conor fight? And would Conor even take another short notice fight? Look what happened to him against Nate Diaz. At the time, he thought he was unstoppable, moving up a weight class, going up to 170 pounds, whatnot. But he paid the ultimate price for that fight, and yeah, he was able to come back from it. But would you take that chance again? I don't see him doing that. I really don't. So this is a very risky fight for him to take against Habib Nurmagomedov due to how this is all played out. And I am quite frankly pissed that we never got to see Tony Ferguson versus Habib, because that's the real number one contender fight. And I will also say this. In the last year, Habib Nurmagomedov, in the public's eye, has definitely taken a couple steps forward here. There are a lot of people out there that are like, who's going to really want to see Conor versus Habib or Conor versus Tony? Those guys really don't have the star power. Look at Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes had great star power, but more people knew who he was after the Conor McGregor fight than they did before. And here's another thing that blows my mind. Why isn't the UFC doing the amazing walkout? The amazing walkouts like they had for UFC 189. That was the best walkout I've ever seen in my fucking life. The energy, having Sinead O'Connor sing Conor McGregor in, having Aaron Lewis sing from Stained, sing Chad Mendes in. Why isn't the UFC following up on that? That made the main event feel so real, so epic. And I really feel like we're going to see something very similar to that same exact fight. I think we saw Chad Mendes versus Conor McGregor. But keep this in mind. Chad Mendes also took that fight on short notice as well as in Uriah Faber's terms. He rolled off the couch with a beer belly. But you also have to keep in mind that Chad Mendes is a smaller featherweight. Khabib Nurmagomedov is a bigger lightweight. You have to remember that. You have to keep that in mind here. I really wouldn't be surprised if Conor McGregor just literally gets mauled by Khabib here and just gets taken out. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way around. You know, I thought Eddie Alvarez was going to beat Conor McGregor as well, considering his wrestling skills and, you know, his fight IQ, especially with these bigger fights that he's had. But he just kind of shrunk in those moments. He got dropped multiple times. I remember watching that fight and just my mind was blown because I love Conor McGregor and what he's doing for the UFC, but there's been so many fights where I really didn't think he was going to be able to win, especially Jose Aldo, especially against Eddie Alvarez. And look what he did to both of those guys. He made them look like they do not belong in the same fucking cage as him. It was ridiculous. So, honestly, guys, this could be the biggest fight in history if it plays out the right way. I would not be surprised if, I mean, can Conor really defend all those takedowns? Khabib Nurmagomedov is just a fucking monster. He's a legit monster. And me and James McSweeney were talking about it on episode 4 of Gloves Off, which was just released yesterday morning. You guys can check that out on our YouTube channel at Gloves Off Pod. And I also uploaded it here at Pure EVil MMA, especially on iTunes, Spotify. You can find that right here down below. But man, I'm really looking forward to that. And this year has been pretty slow. There hasn't been that many big fights that have gone down this year that people are that excited to see. Ooh, it looks like we got a new subscriber, JBH. Thanks for... Oh, Jesse B. Hill. Jesse B. Hill, what the fuck? You wouldn't subscribe to our channel yet? What? JBH, come on, girl. Oh, and also, guys, we just released the live-action fight companion for CES 51 that went down last weekend, where there's... where we're joined by Chris and Jesse B. Hill. Also, Stephen Domenico joins us. Brian Gerson joins us. Nolan King makes an appearance as well. Travis Lazo. Let me just send Christine Ferreira a quick message here on Instagram to make sure she has the number to call in at 12:30. So currently it's 12:16 right now. So let me just message her really quick. And guys, you hear this feedback coming through? Like, is it just on my end through my microphone? Or are you guys hearing me? Because that would fucking suck. And I will be super pissed at this microphone or at OBS. Because I've never heard this before. Like I said, I got the studio all changed around. I don't know what the hell's causing it, but there is some kind of feedback going on. Alright, so I just gave her the number. Also, Rivoli's is going to be calling in, or I'm going to be calling them. Hopefully, they will pick up the phone. There's been a lot going on his end. He wants to kind of clear the air here with the whole issue with Frankie Edgar's manager, Ali Abdelaziz. So, we got a pretty decent show here lined up for everybody. And just a quick reminder, guys, we're trying to grow the YouTube channel. So, if you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, or whatever, make sure you guys go to youtube.com/PureEvilMMA and give us a follow there, because we've had almost 100 new subscribers this year, but that is nothing compared to what we could be doing, what we should be doing. All right, so it looks like Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov ticket prices have been revealed. I would not be surprised if they're fucking ridiculously expensive here. So tickets for UFC 229 on sale Friday, August 17th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, and the price at, holy shit, $2,505 and down, going all the way down to $205. But Jesus, who can afford that? Who can afford that money? And that's going to be a great fight. UFC 229 is a great card. Let's see who else is on that card. I'm going to go to the UFC fan app. I don't even think it's still running. Very upset about the whole UFC Fantasy League getting shut down. But hey, looks like this website is still up and running. So let's take a quick preview at some of the upcoming fights that we got here. So August 25th, in just 10 days' time, live on FS1, we got Justin Gaethje going up against James Vick. Jesus, I cannot wait to see that fight. Let's see what else is on that card. I mean, Justin Gaethje only has 2 losses on his career, and they've come inside the UFC. But James Vick only has 1 loss. and is also a little taller. Michael Johnson versus Touchy Philly is also on this card. I had no idea that was going to be on here. Courtney Casey versus Angela Hill. That's a decent fight there. Ellenberger versus Bam Bam Barberina. Jesus. What else we got? Anders Williams. James Krause versus Alves. Seems like that about... Oh, Mickey Gall versus Sullivan. Jesus. Calderwood versus Ferreira. Drew Dober versus Tuck. Yaha versus Ander. Why are all those at the bottom of the card? Oh, what the hell? And then UFC 228 is going down September 8th in Dallas, Texas, guys, with the champ Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till. Now, you guys already heard my take on this. Like, how does a guy who has missed weight and isn't interim champion, or the alleged interim champion, get a title shot over the interim champion of Colby Covington? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It does not make sense at all. I'm a little ticked off about that. Darren Till going in there, undefeated record, 25 years old. He's young, up and comer. Man, I'm kind of, now that we're getting closer towards the fight, I could see Darren Till taking this fight, but I may be getting ahead of myself here. I may be drinking the juice, because let's look back at some of the other fights that Darren Till has had. You know, he's been in the UFC for quite some time. I believe he's been in for a little over 3 years, maybe going on 4 years now. No one knew who he was. I remember watching him on prelim cards against guys who we don't know, and go the distance against them. Yeah, he had a great fight against Cowboy Cerrone, and I will say this, anyone out there like, oh, he followed the blueprint to beat Cowboy Cerrone, went in there, blitzed him, shocked him, and took him out of the fight. Yeah, I guess that's the blueprint that everyone's following, but Jesus, man, it's Cowboy Cerrone. It's not that simple. It's not that simple to take somebody like Cowboy Cerrone out. So you have to give Darren Till a lot of credit there. Darren Till's last fight, winning against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I don't give him that much credit for that fight. Yeah, it's very impressive. I will give him credit, but man, you missed weight. You called Wonderboy out, who, you know, didn't really know who you were, didn't want to take this fight in the first place, flew all the way out into your backyard, and went to a decision where 75, maybe even 80% of fans out there scored it for Wonderboy? Like, it just doesn't make sense. That fight really pissed me off, and for him to get the title shot just from that, after missing weight, like, it just pisses me off, man. It really rubs me the wrong way. And it just shows you where the scenario is right now with the UFC. BLT checking and saying $200 for the cheap seats. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Who can afford that? Who can afford nosebleed seats for $200? But here, I have to say, if you've never been to a UFC fight, I mean, $200 to see Conor McGregor fight, I would pay that. I will not lie. I will save up. I will pay $200 to see Conor versus Khabib. But for the people out there that get tickets ahead of time, just to find out that the fight gets called off like a week before the fight, or they miss weight, whatever, it's crushing. It is crushing. But if you've never been to a UFC fight before in your life, you don't want to miss out on it. Even Bellator. Bellator puts on some stellar live cards. Like, you do not want to miss out on a live event if it's coming to your area. Trust me. All right, so also on UFC 228, Nico Montano going against Valentina Shevchenko, and there's been a lot of heat against Nico Montano. She is the current champion at that weight division. She has wins over Roxy. She has wins over Lauren Murphy, a.k.a. Barb Murphy. She has a win over Barb Honchak on that season Ultimate Fighter. You know, but Valentina Shevchenko, she's on a different level. But I think there's a lot of people that just are writing Nico Montano off here. And I do not think that is fair. You know, I really would like to see Nico put up a fight, and I know that she will. It's not going to be an easy fight against Valentina Shevchenko, but who out there thinks that she has a chance to beat Valentina? I can guarantee 90% of you guys are going to go for Valentina Shevchenko, and it would only, like, man, I still feel Valentina has just gotten robbed a couple of times here, especially the fight against Amanda. I scored that fight for Valentina Shevchenko, and call me biased there. Call me biased as much as you want. But there's a lot of people out there that will agree that Valentina Shevchenko most likely won that fight. BLT checking in here saying, Montano going to pull off a shock submission in the third round, head an arm choke or something. It's difficult to roll out. Seems fair on that basis. And you know what? I would love to see that. We've seen crazier shit happen inside the octagon, guys. We've seen some crazy shit happen in years past. Like, you cannot count anybody out. Look at what fucking Matt Serra did to GSP. The odds are way more stacked against him than they are against Nico Montano here. But Valentina Shevchenko, she's got almost 20 professional MMA fights. She has a Muay Thai background. She's beaten Joanna Jędrzejczyk in Muay Thai. Nico Montano, 5-2. This is her moment, though. You know, I've reached out to Nico multiple times now, trying to get her on the show for you guys with no response. And in my mind, it's like, come on. Like, I understand that you're training for your fight, but you have shows reaching out to you for you to come on, grow your audience. Like, it makes me feel some type of way about it all. Like, guys, name a show that Nico's been on recently where she connected with the fans. I don't see her on social media connecting with a lot of people. Like, that stuff can rub people the wrong way and will get people to root against you. Also on this card, what I'm really interested in seeing on UFC 228, Jessica Andrade is going to be going up against Karolina Kowalkiewicz. That is a fight for the ages. If you've been looking at what Jessica Andrade has been able to do in the last year, look what she did to Claudia. She made Claudia look like she just did not belong. She went there against Tisha Torres recently, got the win over her. Her last loss was against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, where she lost all 5 rounds. But outside of that, after that fight, I mean, she's only grown better. What she was able to do back in September to Claudia was just remarkable. I've never seen anybody do what she did to Claudia in my life. I think that took her above and beyond and got a lot of people very excited to see what's next for her. And if she can prove herself against Karolina in this upcoming fight, she has to be next in line for the title shot after this all plays out here. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I mean, she's still young. She's still 32. Only lost 2 fights in her career. She's coming off a win to Felice Herrig. She's on a 2-fight win streak. She beat Jody Escobar, but she lost 2 in a row. Joanna at UFC 205 and recently at UFC 212 against Claudia. Those are the only blemishes on her career. She even beat Rose Namajunas. I mean, Rose Namajunas is now the champ. So this is a very interesting fight here going up. Andrade versus Kowalkiewicz. Who do you guys see winning that fight? Also on this card, Carla Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. Very big fight. Very career-changing fight for Tatiana and Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza has a chance to go in there and to prove to everybody that she's still got game. She's still with it. She can take out these young up-and-comers. And these two are friends, which, you know, Carla's got to feel some type of way about it. It's got to be difficult for even Tatiana. But Tatiana will not let anything get in the way of her getting the shot at the title. This is a girl who's beat cancer. This girl was ranked number 1 in the country in wrestling, in female wrestling. And it got destroyed. I believe she's been, in the Olympic runner-ups twice. She had cancer. It pulled her right out of the game. She made a huge comeback, got brought on the Ultimate Fighter, won the entire damn season. She's still undefeated, making huge strides inside the UFC. She's 27, and a lot of people out there will say, people hit their prime between the ages of 26 and 33. This girl is at the very beginning of what we can call her prime. And if she beats Carla here, man, I'm going to say it, she's going to be in her prime right there. Her grappling is on point. People don't know what to do in there. So going up against Carla, this is going to be a great test for her to prove herself against another elite wrestler in there. And you got Tatiana coming off this win against Alexa Grasso. She's also coming off a win against Vivian Pereira. Amanda Bobby Cooper getting that win back in 2016. For the Ultimate Fighter season 26 finale? Season 25 finale? I forgot at this point. That's very impressive. Amanda Bobby Cooper is a scrapper, man. So Tatiana Suarez and Carla Esparza, that could be fight of the night there, at least for me. And Carla coming off a loss to Claudia. But before that, she had a win over Cynthia Calvillo, Merlin Moroz. Before that, a loss to Randa Marcos, a win to Juliana Lima, and a loss to Joanna back in 2015. But she also has a win against Rose Namajunas going all the way back to 2014. But as of late, it seems like Carla is really trying to prove herself. She hasn't been hot and cold. Well, I guess she has. In her last 5 fights, she's won 3, lost 2. This would be huge for her to prove to everybody that she's still got game, like I said. So let me know who you guys are rooting for in that fight. We should have Misfit calling in any second. Also, Yair Rodriguez making his return. A guy who got fired from the UFC because he will not take this fight against Zabit Magomedashapirapov. Crazy fucking name that is. Who's coming off a recent win to Kyle Bachniak. Before that against Shaman Miraz, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the guy's just on a run here in the UFC. 3 fights. He's 15-1 right now. Yair Rodriguez, they were trying to, make a huge name for him. This is going to be a banger. The UFC 228 is stacked, man. Also in this card, Aljamain Sterling versus Cody Stamann. Jesus. What else we got on here? Jimmy Rivera versus Dodson. Sanchez versus White. Holy shit. Miller versus White. Wow. Wow. How about that? All right, so let's get Ferrer up in there. All right, I want to see if you're ready. You ready, girl? Yo, this noise in my headphones, I might have to take my headphones off because that noise is getting to me. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I'm about to fucking throw holy water on my computer and pray that this shit stops. Oh, by the way, speaking of holy water, my prayers this morning went out to fellow Pure EVil MMA sister, Misty B, whose husband is going into surgery this morning. Misty, my prayers and our prayers go out to you this morning. We hope that everything goes as planned and that you will be able to go back home safe and sound to your family once this is all wrapped up. Also, shout out to Ann out there. And Mike. I mean, straight up hashtag relationship goals. Those two just had a Star Wars convention. I've always wanted to go to a Comic-Con or something like that. And there's actually one coming up I'm going to be going to this weekend. I think called Terrificon. Yeah, Terrificon up at Mohegan Sun I'm going to be going to. But, Ann Hill, man, supports everyone inside the MMA scene. Anyone gives Ann a hard time is giving me a hard time, and we'll get blocked. And we'll get some words exchanged here. But guys, before Christine Ferreira calls in, make sure you guys are following her on Instagram at Christine Ferreira. That's CHRISTINEFEREA. Hashtag Misfit. And let me pull up her page here while we're waiting for her to call in. I think I can even just call her like this. Boom. I can't do that, I guess. Let's see what happens here. Because I know that she's out in Cali. So maybe she thought when I said 12:30, maybe she thought I'm at West Coast time. Let me just double check my schedule. Here. Just double checking here. And guys, man, this show has really helped me become way more organized than I ever been in my entire life. I will say that. Big things have been blossoming with, my journey here in mixed martial arts. Guys, I did a recent interview with Rafion Stott that you guys should check out. And also I spoke about Logan Paul wanting to fight Conor McGregor. All right, so Christine Ferreira, 12:30. I hope she thought I meant Eastern time. But we'll see what happens here. Until then, let me jump back in a little bit more MMA news here. I mean, there's been so many fights that are coming up. I mean, UFC 228, like I just said, card's absolutely stacked. And then September 15th. So listen, we have a shitload of schedule here for the UFC. August 25th, here's a card. September 8th. And then September 15th, Hunt versus Olenek. He was pulling up all these crazy submissions. That's going to be a great card. Krylov versus Blachowicz on there. Dalloway versus Akhmadov. Jesus, some fucking wild names up on that one. Then after we got Glover Teixeira versus Jimmy Manuwa. That's going to be going down September 22nd. And I really cannot believe we're almost at the end of the year. And then after that, UFC 229, October 6th. That's when big things are going to be coming into play. But there's been some breaking news this week in the last day or two here. For the October 27th card, some unfortunate news has come about with Anthony Lionheart-Smith, who's trying to keep the momentum going. He's recently got 2 wins over 2 former UFC champions under the name Rashad Evans, and also Shogun Rua. Well, there was an upcoming fight for him at the Moncton Event Center in Moncton, New Brunswick. is supposed to be going down live on FS1 against Volkan Oezdemir. Well, Volkan Oezdemir is now off of the card. This is very upsetting news, especially for Lionheart Smith here. And there are rumors, correct me if I'm wrong about these rumors, that he is going to be fighting, allegedly, Khalil Roundtree. He said recently, I believe this morning or last night, Anthony Smith saying, I will take that fight with Khalil Roundtree. Be careful, man. Be careful when you take these fights and you're feeling, I don't want to say he's feeling cocky. Like, I've interviewed Anthony Lionheart Smith about 3 years ago now. I was on Cage Side Submissions. So to them, I no longer, have a relationship with them for whatever reason. Not on my end, but on their end. I talked to Anthony Smith on there. Man, he's been in the game for a while, man. All the way back in the Strike Force era. Very humble guy. He is definitely riding a wave of momentum here. He is making a huge name for himself. And it is about time that he has. And that fight for Volkov would have just cemented him in my mind. 30 alien sex. BLT, you're getting out of hand, man. But, if you're in that position that he's in, you want to keep riding that wave. You don't want to have it die down, take a year off and do whatever and just, ride the excitement of your last new fights. He's doing the right thing here, moving forward and not letting this fight, evaporate. Remember, he is headlining the card. He is the headline spot. This is huge for Anthony Smith. You don't want to let it just slip under the table. Beating somebody like Khalil Roundtree, who's coming off a recent win over Gokhan Saki, that's a huge fight. And we all know this is going to be a stand and bang fight, which is why I fell in love with Saki versus Roundtree in the first place. This is why when Khalil versus Saki got called off that first time, they rebooked it because they know Khalil Roundtree is a guy who will just stand and bang. That's what he wants to do. He's going to go in there. He's going to look for the knockout. Anthony Lionheart Smith, he's going to do that same thing. This is going to deliver on all levels here. I cannot wait for that fight. And we knew that Volkan Oezdemir was going to be the same thing. Very similar fighting style between Volkan and Khalil Roundtree here. So I'm guessing Christine Ferreira thought it meant West Coast time, and that's okay. Because our 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. So she must be guessing about 3:30 Eastern time. I also had an interview at 2 p.m. with Lindsey VanZandt. So we might have to continue the live stream because there's still a fucking hour and a half before we get to that. So this is kind of, throwing a wrench in the works here. But it's all good because there's so much MMA news to talk about. I can just pick the show back up then. But let me end on this note here. When you're riding the momentum, and the last tweet that Anthony Lionheart Smith sent out was like, man, I just beat 2 former champions. Now, the backlash there, where people are going to come out and say, yeah, you beat 2 former champions that were on the decline of their career. You can't take those 2 wins away from Lionheart, man. You can't. There's no way you can. I would love to see a lot of these guys that sit behind their couch, type away with their Cheeto fingers, that can't punch a balloon for 5 minutes without getting winded, have a remark to share about a top elite athlete. Get the fuck out of here, man. Your comment means shit in reality. I mean, and this is the sad part about it. You look at Rashad Evans, man. He lets these Twitter comments get to him. You look at some of the people that are commenting, they won't even, and this is no offense to anybody out there, because I enjoy all of my supporters. I enjoy, everybody that engages with, my show and the entire community here. But a lot of the people out there that are throwing shade don't even have the balls to put their own photo of themselves in the fucking profile picture while they're talking shit. Put yourself out there. Let's see what you can do in there. But to be fair, these athletes also have to understand I'm giving my life away. Not giving it away, but I'm in a position with the job that I have where people are going to have an opinion, and they have every right to have an opinion. But Mickey Gall recently had an interview on Ariel's show, and I was just listening to it on the way here. And let me say, Mickey Gall, man, I like listening to his interviews. I'm going to try to get him on the show soon. But he said there's a saying out there that goes, people's perception of you is none of your business. And I really like that. I like that a lot because, the people who are close to you, who know what's really going on in your life, They know that shit's wrong. You know, let's look at Anthony Leonard Smith beating somebody like Rashad Evans, beating somebody like Shogun Huo, who is leading. Jesus, my phone blowing up. Who is leading the pack in that division for the most consistent wins? You can't take that away. These are very impressive wins. He's beating top athletes. Get out of here with your comments. So, guys, I guess we're going to have to pick the show back up at 2 p.m. for Lindsey VanZandt, which is about an hour and a half here. Until then, we'll talk to you soon. If you got any questions at all, tweet me at evil_echo. Guys, there's also new merch up. We got new merch for Pure EVil MMA. I'm also meeting up with a local artist, Free Filth, on Instagram. He does some amazing artwork. He's going to be designing some new merch for us. But if you guys want to get your hands on some of the newest design that Minion McGrunion made for us, go to teespring.com/Pure EVil Summer. Very simple. Teespring.com. That's TEESPRING.com/Pure EVil Summer. PureEvilSummer. We got mugs. We got stickers for $4. And guys, every dollar that you spend on merchandise doesn't go to buying hamburgers or buying Red Bulls. It all goes into the show. If you go back and look to where we have been, I mean, you guys didn't buy the furniture or anything. I mean, we're not making that kind of money. But even like the GoPro, the microphone, the webcam, the lights, the lighting, the posters, the Pure EVil MMA cinema, everything. Every dollar that you guys use to support me goes into the show, and it means the world. I mean, we just had Robert TQ Turnquest representing Pure EVil. That means so much, man. It means the world to see you guys out there supporting me, doing what I love to do, to have this opportunity here to sit here and talk to some of the best athletes in the game. I don't even like hanging out with my friends anymore because there's so many people out there that are just very small-minded. And when you are ambitious and you wake up every day chasing after dreams, excited and passionate. Look at Oscar passed out on the couch there. Scooch! Dude! Oscar! What are you doing, bro? Chilling? You chilling, bro? Dude, fuck you. Let me sleep, man. You got me up all night. But, man, it just means the world to me to be able to do what I do, talk to the champions I get to talk to, and hold that mindset. I've learned so much. And also, quick update, guys, a little weight loss thing. I am down to 207 pounds from 230 on my birthday. My birthday was just June 14th. What, about 8 weeks ago? I am down almost 30 pounds, over 20 pounds now. And I feel great. I feel amazing. I mean, after me and my ex broke up, how could you blame me for wanting to go to the bar and go out to eat pizza and drinking a little beer and getting a little beer belly? How can you blame me for that, man? You can't. All right, really quick, let's check in the chat room. Tiger Life is for real, man. Turnquist is the name of Sean Connery's role. Man, I got that tiger blood. Hashtag winning. Yeah, I'm by winning. All right, Red Bull is for pussies. Hey, bro. Red Bull went for pussies. Listen, I was drinking Monster, and I had to cut back. Drinking Red Bull actually helped me lose weight. I was drinking those big Monster cans, man. Man, they were helping me get fired up and everything, but I'm losing weight, and it's working. Also, I cannot wait to break news about what's going on with Gloves Off. So go check out episode 3 of Gloves Off before it gets pulled. Like, literally, I can't even tell you guys because it's just literally that crazy. But I will say this. Go check out the end of episode 3. It's very controversial. And there's somebody out there that wants us to pull it. They've even reached out to higher ups to contact me and James saying we need to delete that episode. So go check it out while you can. BLT, matter of fact, BLT made a video of it, and I'm not going to say what it is. Go do your own research. But me and James are going to be making a video explaining what's going on with this. Allegedly we have 3 days to get rid of this video. starting from this morning, and you guys will be informed on exactly what's going on here. But go check it out while you can at Gloves Off here on YouTube, and you can find it on iTunes under the Pure EVil MMA channel, over at Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, what have you. We have a special guest with us here today. We got the damsel Lindsey VanZandt, who actually won last year's My MMA News Pro Fighter of the Year. So welcome to Pure EVil MMA, Lindsey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and you know what? I've been saying this since it was released, since I found out that first, there's a lot that's going on in your life right now that's actually really exciting. First off, Invicta FC 31, and second, Prime Athletic Management just signed you. Let's start with Prime Athletic Management, though, first. How did you come across them?
They sent somebody to watch me fight my last fight in October against B, win, and so he contacted me after it, and I've been talking since, and then I finally signed with him about a month ago now, so yeah, it's fun stuff. Like, he jokes now because, it took 9 months for him to sign me. He's like, I knew you were going to take a while because you're a female, but damn.
Yeah, they have a lot of great fighters on their roster that are coming up right now, like CES, you. I mean, they're doing really good for themselves, and you're definitely a big girl to pick up. I mean, I've known about you for a while now because of my MMAnews.com, which I work for. So you've been on my radar. It's been a while since I've been wanting you to come on the show. But let's jump into Invicta FC 31, because I've been saying this is the biggest female fight card of the year. You got, yourself. You got Mallory Martin on there. You got Pearl Gonzalez. How excited are you to be on a card like this?
Oh, so excited. I'm like already trying to calm myself down so I don't look like a crazy person fangirling when I'm there.
Well, you know what? There's Mallory Martin on the card. Have you been following up with her? Because she's, making a name for herself just like you are.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to watch a bunch of fights from all the girls on the card so I know how they're doing and all that. And so,
and you're going to be fighting.
I try to keep up.
You're going to be fighting Kelly D'Angelo. Now, I know that you said out of all of your fights, your last fight was definitely your hardest to date. But Kelly, I mean, some people might look at her career right now and be like, oh, she's on a 2-fight losing streak. But I think a lot of people forget, like, what this girl has accomplished. I mean, she has a win over Emily Whitmire. She's fought some pretty tough competition.
Yeah. No, I'm not taking her lightly at all. I'm excited to fight her. I know because she's coming off a couple losses, like, losses suck, and nobody wants to lose. So I know she's going to be coming out there hard, trying to finish the fight like I am. So I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a good one to watch. So. And
obviously, like, something that's very similar between you and her is you guys both have a win over girls that have been on the Ultimate Fighter season. With you have a win over not a win, but you fought what the hell is her name? I had her on the show recently. She just beat Meatball Molly, Jillian Robertson.
Yeah, Jillian, she's great.
So you guys, both have that, similarity going for you. But you know what? You were an amateur when you fought Jillian. So what has changed since then with you? Becoming an amateur and a pro. What have you really worked on? What's the biggest difference?
Oh, a lot. I feel like that was so long ago now. I mean, it's so funny because that was a while ago. I took that fight and I was so excited. And I think I've only had 2 amateur fights then, and she was like 8-1 at the time. So it was a really big jump up in competition for me. Maybe a little too soon, but no, it was a great fight. And since then I've worked so much. I think I'm always looking on patience. Patience is like, I get really excited in there. I get excited at anything I do, so I have to remember to be patient now. And I've worked a lot since then off the cage. My jiu-jitsu has gone up so much, and that was a long time ago.
So did you know about Kelly before they offered you this fight, or is she new to you?
Well, she knew to me because she's a strawweight. I mean, not that I don't watch strawweight fights and stuff, but when I'm looking at competition, I look at girls in the athlete division.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing right now. Like, the UFC is opening up all these different divisions, but still have not yet opened up atomweight. And you would think they would, especially having Michelle Watterson over there. Like, that's her division. So do you think the UFC will do this soon, or what?
Oh, I think so, definitely. And you'll see a lot of probably strawweights dropping down, smaller ones to atomweight. That would be really cool to see. I'm sure it'll happen soon, hopefully in the next year or so.
So Invicta FC, I mean, it's the biggest female organization on the planet, but you've had some history with, King of the Cage. What got you over to Invicta FC? Did Stephanie, find you, or how did this come about?
My awesome manager. He lined all up real fast too. Like right after I signed the contract with Sean Rockwell with Prime Elite Management, he whipped out that Invicta contract, and I was like, damn, that was fast. It was like boom, boom.
Yeah, your manager's actually trying to get me to fly out there. Now, have you ever been to an Invicta card before? Obviously, you've watched them, but have you ever been to one?
No, I've never been to one. I always wanted to go, and now it's cool that I'm going as a fighter, so.
Yeah, well, the one thing about you that I've always read about is your family, isn't really for you fighting. Have they turned the corner yet with that, or any update with them supporting you as a fighter?
They just, not really. I mean, they want me to have a normal job and stuff. They just think I'm crazy doing this, The old school Italian family, you get a 9-to-5, you work hard, you make money, and you live a happy life, So, they think it's crazy that I'm fighting and trying to make it a career. But one day, they'll see when I'm successful, I don't have to work other jobs, and I can just fight that it's, paying my bills. They just want me to be happy and, be able to, live life, I guess, and not worry about bills.
Well, I come from an Italian family as well. I mean, my middle name is Pasquale. My grandfather was a deacon at a church, so, I guess it's kind of, in my blood to kind of preach and do this, and my family's kind of understanding about that. But, it's got to be hard for you to, go to these fights. I mean, I remember reading about you having to, sneak away to, do a fight or something, one of your first fights. What's the story there with that? What exactly went down?
It's funny. First off, my grandpa is Pasquale, so
that's great.
That's funny. Yeah, but yeah, no, but when I started, I remember when I was 16, 17, I've been begging them, can I go fight? Can I fight? And they were like, no. So I told my parents I was going to visit a friend in Washington D.C. and I went to Virginia and fought in a Muay Thai tournament, WKEs, and. Yeah, so that was, the first time I, kind of watched. I was a good kid, too. The only thing I really lied about is, fighting. So I feel it ate me up inside. Nobody wants to lie to their parents, do something. So, like I said, I was a good kid. But once fighting came along, I started lying and stuff, and I hate it. But, yeah. No, so, yeah, then I would tell them I was going to babysit, and I'd be going to a fight. I think my dad, I think they somewhat knew. They're not stupid, I think my dad, I was leaving to one of the times I was going to go fight, I had, my bag in the back, and I know he saw it when he was, walking to the truck to say goodbye to me, and I'm like, oh, shit. He knows. But, yeah, it's been an uphill battle since then. I thought by now, they would understand that it's something I'm really passionate about, but, they'll come along eventually. I keep hoping. We'll get there.
Well, you know what? Obviously, the sport's been growing so much, but for you, you've been, kind of in the scene since a little girl. At the age of 7, you did Taekwondo. Did they really not expect you to kind of follow, pursue this, passion that you have?
Yeah, right? They started me in Taekwondo. They started this passion, so, and I'm a very determined, and, I'm, I'm one of the people that, will never give up and, keep going, so, here I am, there was a time in my life I was like, all right, maybe I shouldn't fight, and I focused on CrossFit for a little while, and it was funny. I don't think I trained in a week, and I worked at a restaurant, and I was so passionate about fighting. I was talking to one of the chefs about it, and he's like, why aren't you training? We didn't train this week, and I was well, my parents don't like it, so I'm gonna try to do CrossFit. Maybe I could be a professional. I don't know. I always wanted to be a professional athlete. I always thought those people were so cool. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do the CrossFit Games or something. And and then they were like, dude, you're so passionate about fighting. Stop. And then I realized I was like, damn, I'm being stupid. I'm supposed to be a fighter. It was in my heart for a reason, So yeah, here I am. When
you saw Ronda Rousey make her appearance and really on the come up, did a sense of you be like, all right, here's my approval in a way. There are other girls that are out there doing it and actually making a living off of it. WMMA exploded after Ronda.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That was a huge step for women, and it was really cool because, I always watched, all the older fights, and I always try to keep up with, Gina Carano, and, I watched it when I was younger. I watched UFC when I was younger, too, so, it was cool to see that females finally got in UFC, and it was it's, huge now. When I look back when I was, when I started jiu-jitsu when I was 13, I was like, nobody knew what jiu-jitsu was. And I always, in the back of my head when I was walking down school hallways, I'm like, I'm so cool because I do jiu-jitsu, and nobody knew what it was. And now it's I don't know. It's huge now, so it's pretty cool.
So what about your friends? I know that you're really close with your friends, enough to the point where you guys all got matching friendship tattoos. How do they, are they supportive of you being a fighter?
Oh, yeah. My best friend, Alicia, she's amazing. I went to college with her in Florida, and she's always been there for me. Like, any of hard times that I've had, like, transitioning and new stuff, and, like, when I moved back to New York, and just when anything was going bad, she was always there for me. She supports me fighting 100%. Like, she doesn't understand why my family doesn't either, but, like, she understands where I'm coming from, too, like, where they're coming from, too. We're all just trying to be more understanding of each other, but she's been my rock, man, with her.
Well, it must have been even more meaningful once My MMA News kind of, they sent you that check for being one of the best, pro fighters. Was that kind of, how big of a moment was that to you to kind of just be like, wow, I am doing the right thing. Things are really falling into place. Like, I'm connecting the dots here and actually seeing results.
Oh, yeah, no, it was crazy. I never in a million years thought I would get nominated or something like that. It's just crazy. No, yeah, that was really awesome. Yeah, no, like, after that third fight, and it's weird even to say now that I'm, like, 3-0, I'm still, like, living this fantasy world, I feel like, where things are actually happening, So, yeah, no, it's a big deal for me, definitely.
So what does your schedule look like? The fight starts September 1st. So where are you at right now in training camp and everything? And how's it all going?
Oh, it's going great. So well. Killing it. I do strength and conditioning like 3 times a week, and then those 2 days in the morning I roll out a lot, do a lot of mobility work, just to keep my body going so that all my muscles are firing at 100%. So when I'm in there, like, there's nothing that's going to slow me down. So that's what I usually do in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I do some drilling sometimes. That's like 2-3 times a week. And then at night, I train, either I'm going to, Muay Thai class and then sparring, or like tonight I'm going to hit pads and then drilling some jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So yeah, I'm doing 2-3 things a day. I'm trying to keep everything going. Yeah, I'm really focusing, cracking down. Like right now I'm not working, so I'm just putting all my effort, everything I can into this fight. So
is your boyfriend a fighter or no?
I don't have a boyfriend right now.
Oh, no?
But he was, yeah.
So you're on the single boat with me. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, I mean, get to be focused and stuff, so.
Well, obviously, Lindsey, this is a very selfish sport. I mean, you really have to, especially right now at this point in your career, it's so crucial that, you have a good head on your shoulders to be, mentally strong and in a good spiritual space. A lot of fighters can't deal with the extra pressure to kind of, maintain any other relationship outside of, chasing this dream. This is a very tough sport, and you're actually, making leaps and strides right now. So this is probably going to better you, honestly.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep up with everything, especially when you're doing like a long distance relationship, because you got like match your schedule so you can talk and stuff. And he was a fighter too, so it was good because he understood, but it was also hard because like he worked nights and I worked like really early in the morning, so like we were both getting like no sleep, just trying to talk to each other, see what was up. So it was just a lot of pressure on both of us. So yeah, we're both probably relaxing now and like focusing on fighting. So. Well,
what about animals? Like for me at least, like I don't need to talk to anybody as long as I got like the MMA scene and Twitter, and then my animals. Like I got a dog, I got rats. Like, do you have animals?
That's awesome. Well, actually, I just got a new roommate, and she has a cat, so I've been hanging out with him a little bit. But no, I love animals. I just, I don't have any of my own. But one day.
Well, I was like scrolling through Instagram, and I saw like a little white dog grab your boxing gloves. I was like, teach me some grounded now. Whose dog was that?
That's my sister's. I have a twin sister, and she has this little dog. His name is Freddie. He's hilarious. But yeah, he'll come over sometimes. But, yeah, he's a good dog. Yeah, he always just grabs my MMA gear out of my bag. I would have to zip it and put it away. He's hilarious. That's
great. So I read that you were born in Jacksonville, Florida, but right now, obviously, you live in New York. How long did you live down in Florida, or were you just born there? Like.
Oh no! I was actually born in New York. I lived in New York my whole life. I just went to Jacksonville for school, for like my last 2 years of college.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You know what's weird? Like growing up, everyone thinks of Florida as Disney World, Disneyland, whatever it is. But like every time I go there, it gets more and more ghetto. Like it's a pretty hard place to live, in my opinion. Especially this time of year, it's super hot and
really
uncomfortable.
Hot, yeah.
Like. I don't know how I feel about Florida, but there's a lot of great fight camps and stuff like that. Would you ever be interested in, cross training later on in your career, or are you just comfortable with, staying at one gym right now?
Oh, no, I'm definitely excited to cross train. No, yeah, definitely. I was gonna actually go to Florida in like if I didn't get this right, I was gonna go like in the middle of August to visit my friend Alicia because she lives in Southern Florida. So I was gonna be like, oh, I'll hit up ATT, get some cross training in, hang out with my best friend. So I think I'll eventually do that. We're trying to plan it out. Maybe it's hard to plan things too far in advance because you don't know when you're getting all fight. Yeah. So I'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, no, I definitely want to cross train. I definitely want to like hit Colorado, California, just some of the bigger places and just see how it is. Like it's just fun to see new stuff. But right now living in New York is good. I'm close to my family, my sisters, and I have a lot of great friends at the gym and stuff. But everybody's been great with getting me ready, so I can't complain. 3-0, so I'm doing something right.
Hey, yeah, you are. So another thing that I got to bring up is you recently had stitches on your hand. What was that from?
Oh, so yeah, after my surgery, they put a pin in my hand for about a month, and then they took it out. And when they took it out, I guess when the pin was in it must have moved a little bit, so it created this like little bump over my knuckle, and it was like more painful than the surgery. It was weird, so I had to go back under to get that removed. So
yeah, that was like in a really weird spot too. Like
yeah, it's where the pin went in. They put the pin in through my pointer finger knuckle, and because the break was a little bit further down my hand, they put the pin in through the knuckle. So like I guess like when I was healing, it was hard not to I obviously tried to not move it as much as possible, but like the pin just must have moved, and like I remember hitting it once, and it was like really hot, and I was like, oh no, and I think it just kind of moved the skin a little bit, so like I guess my skin just kind of made a bump there, like I don't know what it was, like scar tissue, calcification, who knows what it was, but they had to remove it because even when I was trying to train, I was putting gloves on, like it would hurt, like rubbing that spot of the glove, and I'm like, nah, we gotta get this removed.
Yeah, that's a crucial spot for fighting, like to be uncomfortable or for you to be like trigger shy because it's feeling some type of way is definitely not good. It's all healed up and good to go now.
Oh, it's great now. I haven't felt it since May. It's been 100% since then. I really took my time getting back with it, so I recommend that for anybody who's like breaks their hand, because everybody I've talked to like breaks their hand, and I'm like, I'm gonna take extra time and make sure because I didn't want to hit anything for at least I don't think I hit anything for like a good 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, they told me I only had to do 3, and I was like, I'm gonna take an extra couple months because I want to make sure it was 100%. I don't want to have this problem again.
So being an atom weight, you're extremely tiny person, but it seems like you love junk food. At least you like ice cream. So explain to me what an acai bowl is. What's an acai bowl? Or am I saying it right?
Acai bowl?
Acai bowl. What is this?
It's so good. It's a kind of berry, and they make this like, it's not like frozen yogurt, but like I'm trying to think about the best way to explain it. It's like a frozen, like it's kind of like frozen yogurt, basically. It's kind of like they make an ice cream out of it, and it's just all acai berries, and then they just mix it up, and it's like kind of like a frozen icy type thing. And then you can put a bunch of fruit on it and granola, and it's really good.
So it's really refreshing. It's not ice cream, so it's like a healthier form of ice cream, right? Yeah,
it's like if you wanted to have ice cream, like you can like have an acai bowl, and it will like, obviously it's not going to taste like ice cream, but it kind of like, so you don't really crave the ice when you have that. It's kind of a replacement, so you feel like you're having it, but you're not.
So if I go into like my local ice cream parlor and I ask for an acai bowl, are they going to look at me crazy, or is this only like at certain places?
It's only at certain places. There's a bunch of acai places opening up in New Jersey with Main Brothers. I don't know if you saw that, which is pretty awesome. I wish there was more around me. There's not really any place around me, so they're really popular in New Jersey, though, so I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, like, for the people, unfortunately, if you're listening to the podcast right now and not tuned in live, the live viewers right now are able to see you actually eating the acai bowl. This place was called Yo Acai. Is that the real name of it? Yo Acai?
I don't remember which one I was at there, but no, yeah, they have some pretty cool names out there for acai places.
So listen,
I think that one might have been on the beach. They always have them on the boardwalks, like by the beaches in New Jersey. So it was probably one that I went to. In Ocean City or something.
Jeez, man. Like, obviously, I haven't been to New Jersey in so long, but just talking about the boardwalk and all that, like, it's just like, this summer has been extremely hot. Have you been realizing, like, man, I don't need to spend that much time in the sauna. Like, I can just go outside right now.
Right? Yeah, no, it's it's been like really humid out. Actually, today is a pretty nice day in New York. The sun's out and it's not too bad to the point where you like don't want to go outside. But
So listen, before we end today's interview, I kind of want to give everybody a little preview of what they can expect come September 1st when you go in there against Kelly D'Angelo. First off, what do you know about Kelly? What are her strengths in your eyes, or what's something that stands out about her to you?
She looks like a really good boxer. I think that's like her, where she feels comfortable and stand up. So yeah, that's basically all I really know about her. I'll probably try to look up more of her fights, but I've only seen the one that she fought in Invicta. So the other ones are pretty hard to find. Gotta dig a little bit more, but it just seems like she really likes to be in the cage and standing up. So we'll see where it goes.
So you don't do any of your own like video work, like you leave that all to your coaches to kind of guide you in the right direction of how to, the best way to beat this opponent?
Yeah, they watch videos. I watch videos. I'll watch videos. We'll talk about it randomly at training. But most of the time, I'm just trying to better myself. If I can do what I know I can do now, she's not going to have a chance. So if I can just focus on myself and make her fight my fight, things are going to go my way,
So right now, you're 3-0. You got 2 finishes. How is this fight going to play out?
Definitely looking for the finish. I don't care if it's standing up or on the ground. I don't like decisions. Nobody likes decisions. I like to be entertaining. It's not all about, winning the fight. Sometimes you gotta, make a name for yourself and like go out there and just put it all on the table and like go for the finish because it's entertainment. It's not just the sport. It's an entertaining sport. You gotta have fun with it. People are gonna want to watch you. You don't want to have a boring fight all the time.
Well, like I said, Invicta FC 31 going down September 1st has a stacked list of up and coming girls. Even Pearl Gonzalez is trying to get her way back into UFC. Are you gonna stick around after your fight to watch, Mallory and Pearl fight?
Oh, of course. Of course. It's like the best part about going a little earlier is I can watch the rest of the fight. That's like the one sucky thing about being one of the later fights at the main event or co-main event. It's like you don't get to go and enjoy the fight, you just got So I'm excited to be number 3 because then I can go get ready, fight, and then I can relax and then, watch the rest of the fight card.
Well, Lindsey, we are looking forward to it. It's about time you came on Pure EVil MMA, so I want to thank you so much. We cannot wait to see you step inside the Invicta FC ring. It's going down September 1st, guys. Last but not least, Lindsey, do you have any sponsors, shout-outs, anything at all? The floor is all yours.
Oh, yeah, I want to thank, Palm Elite Management, my management team, Sean Rockwell. They're awesome. They made all this happen, so I am, really thankful for them. Just Heart is the company that's making all my workout gear. Those stuff I've been posting. Just Heart is amazing, hooking me up, so I want to thank them for coming up with a cool, badass design for my t-shirt. Kings of Fitness, everybody's probably been hearing me talk a lot about them lately. They play my strength and conditioning. They're amazing, keep me going. Green Limousine, they are awesome. They've been hooking me up with rides to and from the airport. So if you ever need a ride to JFK or Westchester in the area, hit them up. And also Ashland Chiropractics. They are amazing. Just went to them, around noon, passed my neck a couple times and I'm feeling good.
I'm so scared to do that. I see what they do to you guys. It's just sudden abrupt twists and turns in here. It's like a stretchy straw noise. It's oh my God. Yeah. Do you get nervous doing that?
Not at all. It's such a good release. It's awesome. It feels really good. And, it's definitely something that keeps the body going. I'm always just trying to do everything to keep my body where it's supposed to be, 100% for a fight. So, yeah, I know I can't watch it either. Watching it, it does kind of freak you out a little bit. I remember the first time I saw them, my friend's neck, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. And now here I am, going all the time.
That's great. And also, social media, they can find you at damsel_MMA on Instagram. Anywhere else that people can find you?
Facebook, Lindsey VanZandt, or my regular page is Lindsey VanZandt.
And I saw that you have
a Twitter. Sorry, I can't do all of it. Twitter's too hard for me.
Yeah, I saw that you at least tried Twitter back in 2016.
I did. I can't write. They don't give you enough space to write, and it's just too much. It's already too much for Instagram and Facebook. I can't. I'm just getting good at posting on those two. Forget it. Adding Twitter to everything would just be a mess.
It's another part-time job. It really is. It really is.
It takes a while to post all this stuff.
So, guys, make sure you go give her a follow at damsel_MMA. Lindsey, thank you so much. We cannot wait for September 1st. God bless.
God bless you, too. Thank you.
We have a very very special guest joining us here today. We got Christine Misfit Ferea joining us with an upcoming fight for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 2. What's going on, Misfit? How you doing?
Good, how are you? Thank you for having me on.
Of course. I've been waiting to have you on for a while now here, and I'm even more excited to not only have you on, but to see you fight under Bare Knuckle Boxing FC Fighting Championship 2. First things first, how did this fight come into play? Because I knew that, you've kind of dabbled in Muay Thai, you've dabbled in MMA. So what was the big transition over to BKB?
I'm a stand-up fighter. I did MMA because I was originally Muay Thai, and I love Muay Thai, but there's not enough activity, and it's just hard to get, stay active, I guess. So I went over into MMA because they have fights all the time. And then I heard about bare knuckle boxing, and it's like the purest art that you can, fighting-wise. And I love stand-up and boxing, and I haven't been, I haven't practiced purebred boxing, and I think it's something that will make me a complete fighter. So in order for me to get super serious, I have to be competitive about it. So I thought I'd push myself with the bare knuckle.
So obviously this is not a new sport. It's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right.
Were you able to catch the first card that they had, the BKFC 1? Because it did amazing numbers on internet pay-per-view.
Yeah, I caught that, and I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I want it. They called me originally for the first one, but I had an injury at the time, so I didn't want to. I couldn't be on the first one, or else Beck wouldn't be where she's sitting right now. So, yeah.
Well, obviously, you just brought up a really good point right there. Beck Rawlings, she was in the UFC, she was on the Ultimate Fighter, and now she's in BKFC. Is that an opponent that you have your eyes on in the future?
Yeah, I have my eyes on her because she's sitting at the top. That's about it. I want to be at the top of anything I'm doing. So if she's sitting there, if she wins her next fight, then yeah, I want her. But if she's not, then no, I want whoever's sitting at the top. But Beck, yeah, I think that would be an awesome fight, a fun fight.
So one of my very first interviews I ever did, literally ever, was with Bobby Gunn. And he's been a huge, person inside the scene here. So, how far back does your history go with bare knuckle boxing? How long have you known about the sport?
Well, I know it was underground. I'm talking about sanctioned wise now. It's different. It has it's sanctioned. It's just more sport like now, I guess you could say. So that's what I'm speaking in terms of. But bare knuckle boxing, of course, it's been around for so long, and down to I don't want to compare it to street fights, but you know what I mean. It's been around for a very long time, and I've known about it. I didn't ever think it mainstream. Pretty much, which I'm glad because I know it's Bobby Gunn's one of his dreams come true. You know what I mean? So.
Well, when I was talking to Bobby, he was like, this is before it was sanctioned and everything. He was trying to get this ball rolling, and at the time, Kimbo Slice was alive. And I think that's when the first time I heard of bare knuckle boxing was with Kimbo Slice. Unfortunately, he's not around anymore, but, that was the fight that they were trying to get put into play. So it's a little unfortunate that he's not around anymore to do this, but it's been blowing up on MyMMAnews.com. It was the biggest pay-per-view that we've ever sold on that site. One of my biggest things that I took out of the interview with Bobby Gunn was, the big difference here is having to know where to punch because, you don't have any gloves on. So is that something that you're learning about here is sweet spots on where to punch your opponent?
Yeah, that's what I love about this. It's going to create a lot more precision and tactic to my game. I can't just throw a combination and, land a 1, 2, 3, and she moves her head forward, and I, hit the back of her head because that's going to break my hand. So I have to be a lot more precise, and I've been practicing a lot more precision, and picking my shots and just being a smarter fighter overall. I think that's what this is about out of me for this camp, and I feel super confident. I know you just cannot throw super crazy in this. And Bobby Gunn, I've been talking to him off and on my whole camp. I've been hitting him up, for some tips, because I mean the man was 7-2-0 in Bare Knuckle Boxing, so I mean he's the man to ask and to follow his lead in what he does. So I mean go ahead.
So your opponent Maria and Davardi, you know, does she have a history in BKB or no? BK FC?
She's a boxer. She has a boxing background, so she's a boxer.
Okay,
she doesn't have not a bare knuckle. I don't know what she's done on her underground time or on the streets or whatever, but for bare knuckle, you know, so I'm not sure about that. I've just seen her fights online, and you know, she's a true boxer. Even in her MMA fights, she's a true boxer.
So,
you know?
How do you get ready for a bare knuckle fight? Like, what's the biggest difference that you've been noticing?
Body conditioning, period footwork, and just mostly conditioning. The conditioning is way different than what I'm used to, you know, and just being able to take those the bone to bone, you know. I've been doing a lot of, like, you know, getting hit without gloves on, and that's a different feeling.
Well, obviously, like, training in Muay Thai, I mean, you're no stranger to, you know, elbows and stuff like that. But, you know, training at Hard Knocks, is this like the first time? Or, like, are you at Hard Knocks first off, currently right now, or?
No.
You're out in Cali, so where are you training?
No, I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, snap.
But I'm training with AJ Easley right now. He's done a lot of underground stuff, so he's showing me, you know, some stuff that he knows. I'm not with any specific gym right now. I found a guy that did some bare knuckle, and I'm working with him. I'm gonna go. I've been working with, like, some boxing gyms here and there, but they're not gonna be able to show me what I need to do for a bare knuckle fight, you know?
Yeah, like that. I think that's one of the most interesting things is, like, where do you go to learn the most you can about this? Like, I would reach out to Bobby Gunn, like you said there. But honestly, like, for your opponent as well, this has got to be a new adventure for her. How did you think that Beck did in that fight that she had? Did you see any holes, or, like, how did you? I
see the holes, and I see the strengths. You know, she was playing it smart. She let the girl just swing. I think the girl probably broke her hand because she was she swung super wild. Beck just sat there and waited, and, like, she was more careful about what she did. She was smarter. So I can tell that Beck, she's smarter. You know, she's not gonna totally go and break her hand and do some stupid things to make stupid mistakes. You know, but I could see the holes that I could exploit, and I'm not gonna say them because she's obviously gonna correct them. So,
well, you have a lot of experience. Like, for people out there that aren't that familiar with who you are, I mean, you have wins over Rachel Ostovich. Bring us through that fight. What was that fight like, fighting somebody like Rachel?
See, okay, I come from a Muay Thai world, so honestly, when I got called for that fight, I had no idea who she was. Like, I did not know who I was fighting. Like, I know I'm fighting this Hawaiian chick. You know, okay, get ready for a Hawaiian chick. She's tough, right? That's all I know. So I get called 3 weeks out. 25 pounds overweight, and I'm like, okay, of course I'm going to take a fight with Invicta and get a 4-fight contract deal. Who wouldn't do that, right? So I prepared for that. And honestly, when I got there, I didn't know who she was, bro. Like, I didn't know the MMA world fully. I follow it more now that I've been in Invicta and been, like, having to train my MMA fully instead of just being a stand-up fighter. But yeah, it was an awesome win, and it was fun. She's a tough competitor, and I didn't realize how big of a win it was until after, to be honest.
So obviously her career is really blown up, and, you know, people like Beck Rawlings, who is going towards, you know, bare knuckle boxing. Do you see more girls probably going to start filing in line to go to BKFC now that it's kind of blowing up?
We'll see. I think, yeah, once they start seeing us do it and getting in there and having the cojones to do it, and, you know what I mean, like, to get in there and fight, because I'm sure a lot of girls and a lot of coaches are like, oh, we're not letting you do that. I've already heard it a million times. Oh my God, a bare knuckle fight. Oh my God. I'm like, dude, it's safer than what you're doing, smashing elbows in the head and kicking people in the face with your shin. Like, I can't throw 5 hard punches to the dome. I have to throw 40% to the dome, and so that takes less pressure off the head. So I think people are having like misconceptions about the danger. I know you can get cut easier and stuff like that, so the, you know, like getting cut and stuff, but I think like damage, you're gonna get more being gloved up, because I mean you have cement under your hand with a glove over it.
That's
you know
what a lot
I mean?
of people say.
Much.
They're like, the gloves don't actually protect your hands as much as, you know, you would think.
No, heck no. No, it's more like it protects your hand with the wrap, but it's hard as hell under there. It's like literally having a lighter in your hand when you're fighting. You know, that hardness to it. So I just think when people start seeing some of us get in there and putting it down, and we come out okay, and we're, you know, I think it'll open up a little bit more.
Well, like, the craziest thing is, like, I remember when I was in middle school, going into high school, and hearing about the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter Season 1. It was like, wow, this is crazy. And kind of like what you said, like, you know, there was that wild hardcore aspect about it where it's like not a street fight, but it's the closest thing you're going to get to it. And now it's almost like we've been desensitized towards the UFC and MMA, and we want something more. And now that bare knuckle boxing is on the scene, there's a lot more people who are like, oh my god, like, this is going to be brutal, and we're going to be tuning into this. But, you know, obviously it's been around for hundreds of years. How do you see this going in the next 2 years? Do you see this becoming more of, like, you know, like to where Bellator is right now, like a big TV company picking it up, or do you see it really blossoming?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, we just need to, like, people need to establish it. The fighters need to establish it, and the promoters, you know, the promoters need to establish it and just keep it going and get it out there. And I think a lot of people are going to be excited to watch these fights. Just the mystery of, like, people fighting with bare knuckles. When I watched it, the first one I was like, oh my god, like, this guy is boxing. I forgot the guy's name. He's one of my favorite guys on the card. He's not an MMA fighter. I don't remember what his name was, but he was boxing this dude like he had no gloves on. I'm like, dude, like, that is so cool.
Was it the main event or the last one?
No. It was like he was fighting like an MMA fighter. He's a boxer, really good, clean, nice boxing. He was like probably like the 5th fight or something. Oh, that was one of my favorite fights besides Bobby Gunn's.
Well, like, how's your family and friends reacting to this? Are they like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, how are they reacting?
Yeah, my mom was like, I don't know how, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to buy it, but she's like, it's okay for your niece to watch? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be better than any MMA fight she's going to watch with me, because someone can get on top of me and just pound the shit out of my head. So I'm like, I'm either going to sleep, or she's going to sleep, or someone's going to get stopped by a cut. You know, like, it's going to be brutal, but it's not, it's okay. Like, I'll be all right, you know?
So for people out there that aren't aware of the differences between MMA and bare knuckle boxing, what are some of the rules that are different between the two that you're aware of?
Okay. Then I know for boxing, like, the difference between the boxing and the bare knuckle is I can grab the basically catch her with one hand, hold her head down, and just punch. There's a 3-second rule of separation. I guess that's the same for boxing. You know, MMA, I mean, if you hit the ground, you get the standing 8 count. Of course, no gloves. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Like, the differences, like the boxing, I feel like it's the same as boxing, except with the clinch work. You know, you can hold them in the clinch as long as you want, as long as you're actively hitting them. That's pretty cool.
I think you fit really well into the bare knuckle FC scene, especially because you seem like a pretty brutal chick. I mean, you got all the tattoos. You are, you know, the backward snapback. Like, you're my kind of chick here. So, you know, what kind of tattoos do you got going on?
I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got a lot of skulls on me and roses. I just like skulls and roses, and I have the Misfits tattoo on my shin.
What's on the neck? What do you got tattooed on your neck?
I have Death Before Dishonor on one side, and then I have Evil on the other side.
Hey.
Evil, like, yeah, Evil.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Yep, I got Evil on one side, and on the back of my neck is I have a skull, like a traditional skull.
So does your girlfriend or boyfriend? What do they think about this?
I'm married. I have a wife. She loves it. She just thinks, she doesn't ever think I'm gonna get hurt or no one. She's like, you're so tough, no one's gonna hurt you. So she's not like scared or anything. She thrives on it. She loves it.
So how's this training camp going right now? I mean, obviously, like we were talking about, it's a little different. You kind of said that it's kind of been like all around the place. What's been, how's this training camp going? What's it like?
It's great. It's awesome. I train twice a day, 2-3 times a day. Just a lot of cardio. So much cardio. I've been going around to the boxing gyms and watching these guys prepare, seeing how they are, mind of a boxer, the true mind of a boxer, and it's just very different. I love the boxing gyms. Oh my God, way better than the MMA gyms. These guys are in those. I love these boxing gyms. Like, this is where I like to be. I go to these boxing gyms and these guys just work so damn hard. Like, I'm not saying MMA guys don't, but I'm just saying, like, these boxing gyms are just, it's a whole different feel. I feel like it's the look, what I've been looking for in fighting. Just like Muay Thai. I love Muay Thai. Muay Thai and boxing are my favorite. Like, obviously, I've been a Muay Thai fighter, but boxing has really stole my attention and heart. Like, it's what I've wanted. And I just never put my hands on it. So preparing for this, like sprinting, a lot of running, a lot of jump rope, a lot of hand speed, a lot of combinations, just doing things. And I only have to worry about my hands. Like, I can concentrate on speed, my changing speeds. I don't have to worry, like with martial arts, I have to worry about my knees and changing the speed on my kicks and clinch and then wrestling and then jiu-jitsu or all that stuff. It's hard to perfect something, like I feel like with this I can work on this one thing that I can get really good at, and I've had a lot of stand-up, so I can transfer it over, so I'm not like starting from scratch, but preparation is awesome. Head movement, just the drills they have, the ladders, just it's so much. It's such. I feel like it's much more put together.
And it's a brand new thing for you. It's got to be pretty exciting, right?
Oh, it's so exciting! I'm so excited.
So I'm guessing the storyline here is obviously you go in there, you get the win, and then hand you the microphone. What are you gonna say to everybody? Are you gonna call out back? How's this lay out?
I'm calling out the winner, because who knows what's going to happen in that fight. I mean, PBC knocked her out. Who knows what this girl's going to do? You know what I'm saying? So, whoever wins this fight, I want. So, and I heard Amanda Serrano wants to get in it, so I'm ready for that one anytime. I'm ready for that. Like, that's a fight I'll respect right there. Like, she's a true boxer. She said she's the knockout queen. Come try to knock me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready whenever. I'll fight anybody. I'm not one of these girls that needs to pad my record. I want to fight true fighters. I want to know who I am as a human being and as a real. I need to sit my record. This says, when I went into MMA, I didn't really even train MMA. I go and fight Rachel Ostovich. Then they give me a seven-time world champion, Tiffany Van at 115 pounds, which I've never fought at before. 115 pounds. Oh yeah, that girl. That's my favorite fight so far, because that's a true champion, that's a true fighter right there. And that loss, I don't even give a shit, because to lose to someone like that is nothing.
A learning experience, right? Yeah.
So I mean that fight is whatever. But like Karina, she's a true MMA fighter. I'm not even an MMA fighter, man. Like I'll fight anybody. I don't care.
You're a fighter.
If they want me to fight, whoever they want me to fight, I don't care. But I think Amanda Serrano. I heard her talk about it, so she's about it. Let's get it, girl.
What about Chris Cyborg? Would you like to see Chris Cyborg come over? I think that would be amazing to see her come over.
That's the girl. That's why I got in fighting. I love that. She's like, I look to her for like why I work hard. Like, I work hard, and that's a woman that truly works hard and is like a true champion. That's someone that's an idol of mine. That's someone that I look up to. That's someone that I want to follow in the footsteps. And for her to come over, that would be hella cool.
Oh man, yeah, that would be perfect.
Be awesome.
She'd be a perfect fit there. I mean, yeah, her cardio is on point too. I mean, the girl runs like 6 miles a day. Yeah, that would be awesome. So, like I said, you did Muay Thai in 2015, MMA debut in 2017. Now you're doing the BKB. I mean, what's next on your agenda? I mean, what is your bucket list like? I mean, you're accomplishing a lot here.
Yeah, I'm just a fighter, dude. I just love fighting, and I take any challenge, and I like to. I was born a fighter. I've always been that kind of person, I guess you could say. Not necessarily. I just like to fight and like test myself, and that's the only thing that really pushed me and stimulated me, I guess you could say.
So it's going down August 25th. You guys can buy it on internet pay-per-view at mymmanews.com, and you can get tickets as well. It's going down in Mississippi. But last but not least, when people tune in to watch your fight, what are they going to see?
They're gonna see a new me. That's it. It's definitely a new me. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right, we are looking forward to it, and we want to wish you best of skill going into this fight. I want to thank you so much for coming on Pure EVil MMA, and I hope you have a great end of your day, and best of skill come your fight.
Thank you, sir.
Here we go, guys. Misfit Ferea. It's been a long time coming for her to come on the show. I mean, with Bare Knuckle Boxing Fighting Championship, there's a lot of people out there to say BKB, and I've said it a couple times, but it's BFC, Bare Knuckle FC. Oh my God. It's BKFC, so Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 2. It is going down August 25th. We can put the link down below, or you can just go to www.mymmanews.com and support Misfit. This is going to be a really exciting fight, guys. There's a lot of people that I know that are really interested in seeing the bare knuckle boxing. Like I said, it is the next thing that's like, you know, we've really been desensitized to mixed martial arts, where it's like we want something more brutal. Those guys who want something more brutal, right there, BKFC. And I would love to see her get the win. Call out Beck Rawlings. I mean, Misfit just has that look. Like, check this out. Unfortunately, if you're listening to the podcast right now, you cannot see, but you can follow her at Christine Ferea. That's ChristineFerea on Instagram. I mean, this chick just looks so brutal. Like, she fits right in there. She could be the face of it all. So let's see how this goes and plays out, guys. Last but not least, I'm Evil Eddie from Pure EVil MMA. It's been one hell of a day here for us between. We've had numerous interviews between Rolando Casshan. We've also had Lindsey VanZandt on, and Misfit. We've discussed all the MMA recent news, especially Angelique's, kerfuffle with her ex-boyfriend, whatever we're going to be calling it now, husband. I don't even know what he is to her, honestly, but I don't think he's going to be part of her life for much longer, especially with the backlash that the fans are giving. Who knows what's going to happen here, but domestic violence is not a joke, guys. For everybody out there that's kind of making fun of it, it is not a joke. I mean, we might be desensitized as we're into fighting, but behind closed doors, when you're at home, that's your safety space. When you're with somebody that, you've devoted your life to, that, you should feel safe around. Like, they're there to protect you, not to hurt you. And it's not just guys hurting girls. I know girls that hurt guys as well. Like, it goes both ways. It's just very sad, and it goes on a lot in the generation. It's extremely, it's just repulsive. It really is. And at this point, I'm just fed up. For anyone that's going to defend someone that's hurting them or do anything like that, it's just very sad. So hopefully Andrea finds a way here. But for Misfit, we are looking forward to August 25th, guys. I'm Evil Ed from Pure EVil MMA, mymmanews.com. Last but not least, white knuckles till the end.